Hello everyone. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? It's a bit cold today, as you can see. I'm pretty well dressed up. And I pointed the camera this time towards a hockey rink on the other side, just so that we try something a little bit different. But there's nobody here yet, so when somebody joins, we'll say something. You guys want to try a social experiment? This one here. Okay, sorry, I'm arranging things here. Yeah. Hey Verdant, hey Pia, nice to see you. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, we're here in the same place that I'm always, but now I'm focused on the other side because I thought it's interesting. There's a hockey, which is not hockey, but like an ice rink there, and I'm guessing it's gonna get dark, and there's gonna be some nice lights maybe in that direction. I don't know, and there's also more people from their direction coming. So let's see. You guys want to try a social experiment? And today we're gonna try a different social experiment. We're gonna try some deep canvassing. Verdun says louder is always better. Hey Martin, nice to see you here. Hey, you want to try a social experiment?
No, thank you.
Okay. Of course, I know that Sky also has his live during the same time, so if any of you want to jump on that, don't feel pressured to be here, please. Yeah, we're just gonna have a chat and try to get more people to have conversations. And I've been meaning to try this deep canvassing method more and more, and I've been thinking about a way to do it. So let's see, maybe today we'll give it a try. Depending on the person, of course, it will depend highly on the person that we're meeting. But depending on that, maybe we'll try it. Now we just gotta get somebody to try it. You want to try a social experiment? Okay. Yeah, let's see what will happen. I also today I'm clearly dehydrated today because I haven't drank any water for like a couple of hours so that I can last without needing to go to the toilet. And I also put on heated socks. Heated, I mean like they got a battery and they're electrically heated, just so that we don't get so that maybe if my feet aren't cold, then maybe it lasts longer. I don't know. That's what she said, by the way, right? Funny. Name says like the stream. Yes, everybody, like the stream if you can. And if you're new here, stick around. We'll be talking to people. We're just waiting for somebody to want to talk to us. You guys want to try a social experiment?
What kind of social experiment?
I just ask you some questions, get you to think a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah, that's cool. What's your name?
Reuben Henry.
Reuben Henry?
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Reuben.
to meet you.
So I'll ask you, Reuben, did you ever have a pet?
Yes.
Do you still do?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about them?
I have a pet tarantula.
Okay.
Back home in Ireland.
That's a totally, I was not expecting
You're expecting that one? I have a wee cat.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big cat. It's actually like a tiger at this point, called Simba.
Okay.
From the Lion King, obviously.
That's cool. That's
Yep,
cool.
yep, yep.
What can you tell me about their personality? What have you knowledge about them?
I've acknowledged that over the years that I've had my tarantula, it's slowly grown accustomed to letting me hold it and pick it up. It would let anyone hold it and pick it up, whereas at the start, whenever I first got my tarantula, the first week I had it, it bit my hand, just from changing a water dish. So it was very skitterish. So it's grown, I guess you could say, more I was going to say,
Used to you?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
the cat's just gotten bigger and bigger. That's the only thing I've noticed. It's just not stopped growing ever since we got it as a kitten. So yeah.
Have you noticed any fear that they have? Are they afraid of something specifically?
The cat would be more afraid of being left alone. Doesn't like being left alone.
Interesting.
Like a fear of, a fear of being alone. It has to always have attention. You have to always be around it. You have to always be petting it. The tarantula, I don't think it really fears very much. I think it's just, it doesn't fear very much. It would just attack anything. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And if you think from their perspective, do you think that any of this is in relation to you, or is any of this their own thing? Like they were just born.
They're just
like
born
that?
with them.
They were just born
Well,
with
for example, the tarantula, over years and years of evolution, they've been grown to be scared of certain things that has obviously
Yeah.
attacked them
Yeah.
over the countless many years they've existed. Same for cats.
Yeah.
They have their fears, obviously, because through evolution, through genetics, they see, from what their parents have been scared of, from their parents were scared of, and it kind of comes down and down. So yeah, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, do you think that? So you said that none of this is necessarily related in relation to you, but
Yes.
their own personas, their own
Yeah.
individuals. Do you think that if you weren't in their life, they would still have their the different perceptions? They would still have their own personalities and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Well, the cat obviously being scared of being alone, that purely boils down to the fact that we're always around it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you can say that fear kind of stems from us,
Yeah.
from always being around the cat, always showing the cat love and attention in that sense. But I feel like if it wasn't for us, I feel like them animals would behave very much the same way as what they do now.
I appreciate that. Okay. And do you think that these characteristics that we mentioned, they have a personality, they have certain preferences? Do you
Yeah.
think this is available for all animals? Do you think all animals have this?
Oh no.
No?
Well, for example, the tarantula, it would rather just burrow itself into a wee hole, sit there, wait for food to come to it. It's more of like a poacher, as you would say.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously the cat, it's a predator, it's a hunter. It will actively go out to look for food, look for prey. Two complete contrasts from
I
each
mean,
other.
they're different in their own ways,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
I mean, like, the fact that they have a personality, the fact that they have preferences, the fact that they feel fear or other emotions, do you
Yeah.
think that applies to all animals?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And the reason why I ask you this, do you think this also applies to the animals that we usually force into slaughterhouses, like cows, chickens, pigs, stuff like that?
Of course. I mean, you can go online, you can look at videos of pigs being rounded up for slaughter. They know it's coming. They know it's
Exactly.
coming. You can hear them
Exactly.
squealing. It's a horrible sight. It is a horrible sight to see, to hear. It's the same as the cows when they're getting brought to the slaughterhouse. It's like a subconscious feeling.
Yeah.
They've obviously never seen the slaughterhouse before because they're new. This is the first time going through it, their last time going through it. But they just know subconsciously this is it. You can hear
Yeah.
them squealing. You can hear them crying.
Yeah. They can smell also the
Yeah,
blood
they can
and all
smell the
that.
blood.
Yeah.
They can smell the fear from the other animals. They can smell the just death. Horrible. Yeah.
Okay, and here comes the difficult question. Do you think then, given all this, do you think it's wrong for us to send animals to slaughterhouses?
Yes, but I'm also being a bit of a hypocrite here because I'm not long after eating a burger, so that's obviously not great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe there's certain animals. I know obviously you can say this, but then you can turn back and hit me with the counter argument. Well, what's different between a cow and a horse? Which is
Yeah.
very true, but I feel like there's obviously animals that like in the Bible, God gave us animals. He gave us plants. He gave us all this, what would you call it, vegetation for us to eat.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there is a limit to the animals that are being ate and cooked. There's different parts of the world, different animal, it's different, it's culture for them to, like you look in some Asian countries, there's literally festivals where the whole streets will be filled with dogs and you'll pay, you can watch them skin a dog alive and cook you the dog right in front of you for you to eat. I feel like that's absolutely horrible. That's completely different. But I do feel like
Is it completely different because it happens in front of you, or is it completely different? Why?
well, that's a very good point. But I feel like dogs, they've been domesticated over hundreds of years. They're our friends. I'm not saying cows and lambs and pigs aren't, but I also feel like they've bred that way, and not all of them, but yes. I also believe that there's different ways of doing it. There are places where it's cruel, it's evil, and it's just they're being all kept in the same wee rooms. They're not being cleaned, and it is very inhumane. But I also feel like,
I mean, there's obviously like worse ways of doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you think there's any good way of taking the life of like individuals who have a personality, who have preferences, who
No.
feel fear or stuff like that?
No.
No. And given that all of it is optional to us, right? Like we can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
Do you think, I ask you again, it's wrong for us to force them into slaughterhouses?
yeah, no, it's definitely wrong.
It's
But then
definitely
again,
wrong,
that's stems from us humans feeling so self-entitled and feeling like, yeah, we deserve everything and that other animals don't have the same rights as us. That just purely stems and boils down to our species as a race, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Just the way we think we deserve everything and that this is our planet rather than all the animals that lived on it long before the human species did. So yeah.
And a lot of this mentality also comes from industries who feed us this mentality because they stand to profit from us
Yes.
having this mentality, right?
Yeah.
If we were to acknowledge that they have personalities, that they're individuals, and we're doing this horrible thing to them for something that is optional to us, a lot of us would find it within ourselves to stop and not want to participate in this, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So then I ask you, what is keeping you from not participating in this? Because it seems like you align with this whole thing. You don't
I know
want that to happen.
that sounds so bad. Like this does sound really bad, and as I say, I'm a hypocrite. But I do understand both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of in the grey area, but I do understand exactly everything, all the points that you've
Yeah.
thrown across.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just I love my food, and as I say, I'm not necessarily a religious person, but in the Bible, God said that He had made the planet for like all the animals. Not,
The Bible's a weird thing.
the Bible
right?
is it's a grey
The
area
Bible
too.
says don't have sex before marriage.
That
Who
is
does
very true.
that,
Well,
right?
that is
It's
very
all
true.
things. Don't masturbate or
It's-
stuff like that.
it's-
We all do stuff that's not necessarily up to the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
And but we can't justify doing these horrific things to them just because in our sacred book it
Yeah.
says that, right?
Yeah, no, I
Like if somebody comes up with a sacred book that says people dressed with a jacket and with blonde hair should be persecuted or sent to slaughterhouses, that wouldn't make it right,
Yes,
right?
yes, 100%.
So I understand that you like your food, you mentioned,
Yeah.
and I appreciate. I accept. I also like food. I'm a foodie. But do you think that our liking of, or it's not even that, because we can like also plant-based versions of this food.
Yeah.
Or we can, maybe there's a taste difference, but in time we get used to it, and
Yeah.
it's not that one is better than the other, but rather that they're different.
Yeah.
So do you think that this difference is worth what they go through?
No, it's
No.
definitely not. It's not.
No.
That's just it really isn't. Like, don't get me wrong, there are farms you'll go on to, and it is they're ran completely differently. The slaughterhouses are ran differently. Don't get me wrong. Yes, at the end of the day, they all end up the same.
Yeah.
However, I still think there should be a level of. You need to have a level of. How do I explain it? Compassion almost for animals.
Yeah.
You have to treat them like, not like dirt or not like food, but you do have to treat them like animals and feed them right and keep them clean, keep them warm, rather than throwing them all into the same room, all squished in with each other, skinny, malnourished. I do think there should be better ways of doing it, but I do also agree that realistically they are living beings just like we are.
Exactly.
And they have, as you said at the start, they have their own personalities and fears that we also have. So at the same time, it's like,
But if we give them a good life, like you
Yeah,
say, right?
yeah.
We give them a large space. We give them food. Does that mean we can take their life when we can no longer take what we want from them?
no, not necessarily.
No, not necessarily.
It is
right?
still wrong. It is still wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
agree.
that's where, like, for example, so do you know what veganism is, by the way?
Yeah.
Can you? What do you think it is? Because a lot of people gotta get it wrong.
Veganism is it's zero animal products in your food,
Yeah.
as such as dairy product, milk. No, you don't wear animal for anything that basically comes from an animal.
Yeah.
Where an animal has to be harmed or hurt, I believe that vegans will not touch it. So
Exactly.
quite literally, anything that comes from an animal, they will not touch it.
Exactly, and it's not a position. It's like a moral position. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about diet or food.
Yeah,
or
it's-
it's not about clothing or anything. It's about all of it, right?
the moral.
And the idea is not that necessarily it's about harm, but rather about exploitation.
Yeah.
Because we could say, well, in the milk industry or in the dairy industry, in the egg industry, although there is a lot of harm there with common practices even, the idea is that we don't want them to be exploited, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of taking one animal, forcing them, enclosing them, taking whatever you want from them, and the minute they don't give enough, we kill them.
Kill them.
That's fucked up,
It's
right?
very fucked up. Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. As I say,
Do you think that? Sorry, I'm sorry. Do you think that you have any responsibility in this matter? Like, do you think that we, as when we give them money,
yes,
we have a responsibility?
whenever we give them money, we're only fueling these big, and a lot of the times they're major corporations. It's not even a local farmer. A lot of the time it is these major corporations that are making millions and millions and millions every year. And as I say, yeah, and us buying their products is only fueling them to be able to buy bigger facilities, more machinery, more livestock. So yeah.
And again, even if it were a small farm, at the end of the day, that animal still gets exploited and it still gets slaughtered.
Still used the exact same way.
Still used the exact same way, right?
100%, yeah.
So I feel like your morals are right on point with veganism. What is it that's holding you back from being vegan then?
The food. And I'm just, my brother, he is, his girlfriend's vegan.
Yeah.
And every time she comes over, we will cater to her. We're not going to be like obviously we'll cater towards it. We do understand. Our family would understand that we do have them, like, not obviously not, we're not in the same moral, you know what I mean, but we understand it, and we'll cater towards her veganism.
Yeah.
There's times like she'll have left maybe a week and there's a vegan pizza, and I'll try it, and it just isn't the same. The cheese isn't the same. The bacon. It's not. Nothing's the same.
But you gotta ask yourself whether that taste difference is worth doing what we do to animals, right?
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, I wanted to ask you something, but I forgot it now. I mean, can you see yourself? Because you said you like, what is it that, like, you keep saying that it's food, but you also mentioned that taste isn't really, like, you see there's a little bit of a contradiction there, because you say that the taste difference is not worth it, but then you kind of do it.
Yeah, it's just, as I say, I'm kind of going back onto what I said earlier. It's genetics, I believe. It's like I'm not saying, like,
I'm not blaming you, by the way. Right?
No, I understand. It's, as I say, it's just been passed down through generations and generations. And my family, my wee sister would be pescatarian. So yeah, she kind of went that direction almost, but my family, we've all just been big meat eaters. And
same for me. I could completely understand that. But do you think that just because we've been doing something for generations, it makes it right?
No, of course it doesn't.
Right?
Of course.
And like, let me just put a hypothetical out there, and so that you understand my point of view. If somebody right here, it would be kicking a dog, what would you do? Would you just ignore it? Would you go and join them, or would you say something about it?
I would definitely intervene.
You would definitely intervene, right?
Whatever way I feel is needed to.
Exactly.
I would intervene. Yeah.
So if I bring it back to what's happening to animals, the reality is that I know these animals go through far worse practices than being kicked.
Yeah.
And we as individuals, when we buy animal products, we join them.
Yeah.
When we become vegan, we ignore it, and when we become activists, is we go and we join them. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think that you have a moral responsibility, not necessarily to join them, but to at least not participate in it?
Yes. Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So then, I don't want you to say anything or else, but I mean, we've gone through it. You understand what veganism, you understand the whole moral philosophy. And I'll just, one last question. It will be a difficult one, okay?
Okay.
How many more animals do you want for you to be exploited before you make this change?
It's a very difficult question.
It is.
I don't want... You already know what my answer is going to be.
You don't want any.
I don't want any, and I really don't.
Nobody wants, yeah.
Nobody does, but at the same time, obviously, I know I'm going to say me stopping isn't going to change anything, because there's billions of other meat eaters on the planet. But then at the same time, it's something that's a start of a change. You know, if every single person was to say that, then you would never get a change. So.
Oh my God, you should be vegan, man. What are you doing right here? You're just wasting your excellent moral potential right here.
I know.
You have good logic, you have good reasoning, and it's a pity that
you're definitely making me think, though. You've made me ask some questions that I wouldn't have asked myself beforehand, which I am now starting to ask myself, because I have contradicted myself at some of the points here. So yeah, I am definitely going to think a wee bit more.
Okay, let me just give you a map before you go. You don't live here, right? You're first, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a map with some nice, good vegan restaurants here in Amsterdam. Here it is. Here's a map with nice, good vegan restaurants. If I can recommend something good, it's Vegan Sushi Bar.
Sushi
It's a
bar.
great one.
We've been wanting to go try some of the sushi around here. So
Yeah, so it's not really close by. I think there's also one in West. I don't know where, somewhere here.
yeah.
But it's absolute. Oh, I think it's this. No, I don't know. But it's absolutely it's far. Like I don't like sushi, but the vegan sushi bar, I'm like it's absolutely
Very good.
bonkers. Like they really just try to make it
Yeah.
taste amazing, and it's super nice.
Okay. Yeah.
You also, one thing I think which you would really enjoy is if you go on this website Vegan Future, there's a thing there called, it's a video called The Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. I think you'll enjoy it. It's kind of the same conversation we had now, but a guy holding a speech. I don't usually watch speeches online, but this one I thought, hey, it's actually quite good. A lot of my friends have watched it. Not everybody has gone vegan afterwards, so there's no pressure there.
Yeah.
But it's something good to
Worth a
know
shot.
about eggs, about dairy. A lot of people don't know about all these practices, and once you see it, you're like, for me at least, once I saw what happens to dairy cows, I just said, shit, I can't. There's no way. There's no way for me to justify whatever it is that I think I get from supporting this. And Challenge 22, they send you free recipes every day. They try to help you go vegan. You have all the help that you need.
Okay.
Just don't wait too long and make a change. You know, open-minded people like yourself. I don't run very often. I don't run into very often. So I tell you that you have a little bit of a more
A better chance.
You have a bigger chance, but you also have a bit of more of a moral obligation to act because these
actually
other
fun.
people, they always take time. They have cognitive dissonance. They don't think about it, but you seem to think about it. You seem very intellectual, and it's sad too because the reason why I started with pets is imagine that all these personalities, these traits that you see in pets, those animals also have it. They also want to feel love. They also don't want to feel this fear and being killed for when we can easily choose otherwise, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that'll do.
I appreciate you. What's
Thank
your
you
name?
very much, Reuben. Reuben Henry.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
your name,
Chip.
sorry?
I'm Chip.
Chip.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Chip.
to meet you, Chip.
Thank you very much. That
Yeah,
was
and-
very informational.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Have a good one.
Same to you, mate. Thank you.
Jackie, thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, that was a really good conversation to start with, right? I think I really enjoyed that conversation. Give me my sign fell. I personally like meat, but respect people who are vegan as long as they respect me. Wait, we'll respect you when you respect animals, huh? We're here fighting for animals. I'm an animal rights activist besides being vegan. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. If you haven't, if you like it, please like the stream. Subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing. We're here trying to get people to think. We're trying all sorts of different social experiments. The one that you just saw was called, it's a little bit of deep canvassing. I think at least, I don't know, because I haven't finished reading that book about deep canvassing. But yeah, it tries to get you in that perspective where you see it from the eyes of animals more than anything. So yeah, you guys want to try a social experiment? But you can't even enforce laws to protect humans, yet you think you can then protect animals. Your priorities are screwed up. Well, first of all, there are laws to protect humans. I don't know where you live, but there are laws to protect humans. Of course, there's still... You guys want to try a social experiment? Of course, there still is racism, sexism, and all that still happening. But it's because a lot of people's mentality is a little bit messed up, right? So we still try to change that. And what I'm trying to change the mentality of animals being resources. We just can't accept that. They're individuals. You guys want to try it? And Cold Cat asks, why would you want to hurt animals? Exactly, Cold Cat. That's a very good point. Why would you ever want to hurt animals? Why wouldn't you ever just want to... You always have readily available options. You can just choose something else. You can always choose something else. And you know what? The reality is that being vegan, from the definition, literally says as much as is possible and practicable. And of course, we never talk about that side because a lot of the times when people think, well, that's all that's practicable for me, a lot of people just cut corners and they say, well, that's the only thing I can do. But in reality, we all know that as much as is possible and practicable pretty much everywhere worldwide, with maybe, let's say, a couple of exceptions that I can't possibly name right now. Everywhere you can survive and thrive without needing to support animal exploitation, without needing to be the oppressor, the abuser of an innocent sentient being who never really wanted to be in that place in the first place. Hey, Alexandra is here. Hello, Alexandra, die radikale Veganerin. Nice sign. Yeah, sure. I made it myself. For those of you that don't know, this sign is actually made by Alexandra, die radikale Veganerin. She does awesome work. So, yeah. You guys want to try a social experiment? Hi. I just asked you some questions, get you to think a little bit. Are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Okay, yeah,
Do you have a pet that you fondly remember, or
no, I actually don't.
you
I've
never had a pet before?
one. No.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. I'll ask you something else then. How do you feel? What's your take on oppression?
Oh God.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I do know.
So it just means cruel or unjust treatment, right?
Oh,
Or an
no.
exercise of an authority, right?
Yeah.
Are you for it? Are you against it?
Oh, against, of course.
Against
yeah.
it. Okay. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No, absolutely not.
What if the powerful, they get some benefit from it?
It's still not right.
Still not right,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And what if the
absolutely.
powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
Still not right, but it happens like every day. We don't realize it. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. And so you're against oppression. Do you think that what if we breed somebody into existence, like my child?
Okay.
I make a child for the sole purpose of oppressing them. Is that right?
No, absolutely not.
No. Okay.
No.
So the fact that I give purpose to somebody as oppression, as an oppressive purpose, it doesn't mean anything.
No, of course it does.
Okay. So then, what do you think about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses for us?
Okay.
Do you
yeah.
think we're oppressing them?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So do you see yourself as an oppressor in the position when you buy animal products?
I've actually never thought about that, but actually I think kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that from the perspective, the reason why I started normally asking you about a pet is because I generally want people to see from that perspective, because
Yeah,
they
of
usually
course,
see
yeah.
that they have personalities, that they have a subjective experience of the world. Do you think that the animals that we force into slaughterhouses have that?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was,
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this social experiment, trying to get people to see from their perspective and trying to see from this idea that what we're doing to them is not fair.
yeah.
So, saying that you're against it, do you think you can be against it while simultaneously supporting it by buying animal products?
Well,
Simultaneously buying animal products, like.
yeah, that's actually what we do every day, so yeah.
But do you think when you say you're against it, don't you think there's a contradiction when you say I'm against it, but then I pay for it?
Yeah, I know, but from the perspective, yeah, as you said, I've never had any kind of pet, so I can't really actually comprehend completely. But yeah, it does make sense.
It does
My
make.
only point is that animals are, of course, different from.
They're what?
They're different, of course, from humans.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
you
yeah.
and I are different, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
in so many ways, right? You're a woman, I'm a man. You're blonde,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not. So does that give me any sort of justification to draw an arbitrary
No,
line and say
no,
you should be exploited or because you're blonde or because you're a woman and I'm a man, so therefore you
yeah.
shouldn't? It's an arbitrary line, right?
Yeah,
After all, it
yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
convey anything.
Yeah,
So do
exactly.
you think that what we do to animals is then immoral?
Kind of, but it's also kind of a blurred line. I don't know.
Can I ask where is the blurriness coming from?
I don't know, from the fact that I actually don't know. Simply my view of animals. I don't know.
I guess-
I wouldn't be able to explain it, but animals are different.
I guess, a lot of us have been brought up in this society where we see animals as resources, where we see that we
Yeah.
can do whatever we want to them as long as we get some benefit. But having this conversation with me now, and I'm asking for your real opinion, do you think that animals are resources?
Uh, Yeah, kind of.
They are?
Yeah.
Do you think they should be then?
It depends from how they're used.
Okay. So what is a good way of using an animal that is not,
I
it's
think
against their
pro-
will, right? At the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if you're thinking about it, actually, like we also use each others as humans, so I don't know.
But
Like
there is
if
some
you
consent with
receive,
humans,
yeah,
right?
yeah, also, and also you receive something back, so it's different, of course. I
Like,
don't
do you
know.
think if we can't get consent from somebody, because we obviously cannot get consent from animals, right? If we cannot get consent from them, do you think it's fair to use them? It's
No.
not. They're not easy questions. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer. I'm sorry.
Okay. Then let me ask you this. Um, you, I think you kind of have seen. Have you ever seen footage of what happens to animals?
No.
No.
No, not explicit.
Well, let me ask you. Do you know about dairy cows? Just to draw a little bit, just to kind of get you to think a little bit
Yeah.
from their perspective. Do you know what happens to dairy cows? The cows that produce milk.
No,
So I'll ask you. Why do you think cows produce milk?
because we need it, we consume it.
Cows biologically they produce
Yeah,
milk.
yeah. I have actually no idea.
Yeah, so I appreciate you saying that. So cows produce milk because they're mammals,
Okay.
so they're like us. So the reason for them they only produce milk when they're pregnant after they have a baby.
Okay.
Kind of like how humans,
Yeah, of
all
course.
other animals,
Yeah,
do,
mothers. Yeah.
all other mammals. So what farmers do is they forcefully impregnate them because they don't just wait until cows want to get
Okay.
pregnant. Like the procedure goes with somebody puts their hands in their anus to hold their cervix and they inject little semen in their
Okay, I
vagina.
actually had no idea.
Yeah, the reason they do this is because a lot of people think that it's just a bull standing on top of a cow, but not every farm can afford
Yeah,
the
no,
bull,
yeah, of course.
and they usually just buy the sperm, which is cheaper, so that they do this procedure.
Yeah.
And after 9 months, the babies are born. It takes like 9 months, kind of like humans. What do you think happens to the babies?
I don't know.
Yeah, so
Well, I don't know.
the first thing is they get separated from their mother.
Yeah, of
Because they
course.
don't produce any.
Yeah,
Sorry, they don't because they don't. They would drink their milk, and we say, hey, that's our milk, not yours. It's kind of
Okay.
fucked up in the first place. Um, and if they're born male, they don't produce any milk, so they're not useful to the farm. What do you think happens to them?
We probably eat them.
Yeah, they get killed. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then maybe eaten. Yeah, and if they're female, year over year, forceful impregnation, just like their mothers, until farmers can no longer keep them alive financially because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And that usually happens when they can not impregnate them with ease at around 6 to 8 years, and then they get killed, and they can live up to 25 years, so they don't
Okay.
live even a quarter of their life. This is for dairy, right? You said you don't know about this, but hearing this kind of how we use animals, do you think it's fair towards them to use them this way?
No, no, actually not. I had no idea previously, but okay.
Do you think it's important that we? I understand you need to go, right?
have to go. The museum is closing.
I just want you. So one thing, I'll give you a card before you go. But can you promise me you'll look into one thing? Because I think it's important, that. I think it's important that even if we don't face that make the right choices, we at least can.
Yeah.
And I hope you can participate in us and cows. Go on this website right here and watch the meeting. Don't watch, it's like 10 minutes. Okay?
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Have a good one. What's your name? Alexandra. Nice to meet you, Alexandra. Yeah, that's not good. Have a good one. Sorry, everyone. We had a little bit of a snafu. I hope you can hear me okay now. Yes, all is good. Okay, we're back. Okay. So can everybody hear me okay? I just want to be sure before I continue that the sound is okay. Yes, okay, nice. Hello, Sensi. Nice to see you here. Yeah, the funny thing was, by the way, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. If you're new here, please subscribe, like the stream. We're gonna be challenging people and doing social experiments and trying to get them to think a little bit about their choices. I keep thinking about you needing water, says Jackie. Jackie, don't worry about it. I have water on me if I need it. I appreciate you worrying for me, and I'm just gonna try and do my best. I hoped to stay here for a bit longer today, because I'm going for dinner later. But yeah, thank you so much for the worry. I wanted to say that when I started having this conversation, when I started asking people about oppression, I don't know if you could see it on camera. You probably couldn't, but I was surrounded by people. It was full of people. Like a couple of people stopped behind the camera, a couple of people were in front of the camera, and there were a lot of people around. And it just, I think everybody heard the experiment about oppression. Everybody heard it. And the minute I asked about animals, and the animals were forced into slaughterhouses, half of the people left. They were like, "Oh, that's what it's about. I'm leaving." It's funny, you know. That's literally it. So, just as a joke, everybody, if you ever are in a dire situation, just mention veganism. Ask them why they're not vegan, and you'll see people run away instantly. It's the best defense mechanism. So funny. Yeah. Hello, everyone. And I hope you are enjoying the stream. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm actually not that cold. The warm socks are really working really well. Alexandra says, Chip, I have a new sign I want to send you for 2025. Oh my God, Alexandra, I can't even tell you how awesome that would be. I have this activist who I meet on every time we do activism in groups, and she told me that she loves the signs, and if you give me a new one, I would give her one of these old ones, which she enjoys a lot, so that would be perfect. She says, you love it, the hook is slavery. Oh, that's such a good hook, yeah. So, by the way, everybody watching here, what is your stance on slavery? Do you think you can be against slavery while simultaneously supporting it? And do you have a problem with what happens to animals, that it is slavery at the end of the day, right? We are forcing them into things that they don't want to do. We are enslaving them, so how can you be against slavery when you're buying animal products? I don't think you can. Hi. We have. Whew. I see there's enough vegans in the chat. I appreciate you, everybody talking. And hey, if you're not vegan and you want to have a conversation, but be honest, and an honest conversation, a genuine conversation. We have so many vegan people in the chat. Everybody's just wanting to chat with you. Everybody just wants to grasp your ideas. But don't be afraid to that and get it that you will be challenged on your views. That's the whole point, you know. We all were born with this idea, with this view of animals being resources, but they're not. They're individuals, just like us, you know. We live in a world where we are more intelligent, we have more power, we have clearly a lot of power over them, but that doesn't mean we justify doing whatever we want to them, does it? We can't just treat them like objects, which is what we do in animal agriculture, sadly. So, yeah. Let's see if we can get more people. You guys want to try a social experiment? Whew. It's still a bit chilly though, yeah. Oh, look at that, the tree has turned on its lights. It's kind of cool, right? How are the Dutch people, asks Mr. Coolio. Like in general, they're just regular, normal people, like in everywhere else. Some are nice, some are rude, some are vegan, some are not. I don't know. Alexandra, I also can't wait for you to. Maybe, Alexandra, I might be coming to Berlin at some point, and when I do, maybe I can take the sign. You want to try a social experiment?
I don't speak English very well.
Ah, okay, that's okay. That's a problem here when I'm in a touristy area, and of course there will be people coming by who don't really speak English very well. And yeah, the reason why I'm here speaking to people is so that they understand it and so that you also understand it, right? You, the viewer, watching. So yeah. Hey, would like to try a social experiment? Thank you so much for everybody who's in the chat. I appreciate you being here. We're gonna try to get some more people. Well, we try. We sit here and we look nice with our sign. If I do this face, maybe they'll want to. No, I'm kidding. No, it's we'll see. Whoever wants to join, whoever wants to do the social experiment, you know. Not everybody. A lot of people, by the way, they don't really understand the social experiment, what it implies, and I think a lot of them are afraid that it's more than just asking questions for some reason. Because, you know, you do see a lot of that on YouTube. You want to try a social experiment? What's the social experiment? Asks Mr. Coolio. Well, Mr. Coolio, I would like to tell you what it is, but I would just say please stick around because you'll see it in action and I don't want to spoil it. I basically just ask people some questions, get them to think, and try to show them if they have any contradictions in their thinking and their, well, moral philosophy of choice or whatever it is, how they make decisions in their life. Stick around. Hey, would you like to try a social experiment? Yeah, and we are here in Amsterdam. If you are not aware of where we are, we're in Museumplein. It's like the museum square. There's museums all around us. There's a museum in that direction called Rijksmuseum, which is probably the biggest museum. There's a modern art museum. There's Van Gogh Museum. There's all these museums around us. And the big ice rink over there next to that Christmas tree. And normally I set the camera the other way around, but today I decided to set it this way so that you can see kind of what I see when I usually sit here. And we all are in this together, right? And of course, if we're not getting enough people, we'll be moving around. So let me check the time. Okay, we'll give it another 5 minutes. If we're not getting anybody in 5 minutes, then we'll move around. Hi.
Hi.
You want to try a social experiment?
Do I have to pay?
No,
Oh,
of
then
course
yes.
not. Interesting, I never thought about it. But are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Okay.
What's your name?
Antonio,
Nice to meet you, Antonio. Where are you from?
Spain.
Spain, nice. So, Antonio, do you have any pets or animals, animal friends?
No,
No.
I don't.
Okay. Then let me ask you this. What's your take on oppression?
I'm against it.
Are you against it?
In
Do
general.
you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
I guess it depends a little on what you mean by oppressed, but in general, no.
So oppression means like cruel or unjust treatment or an exercise of an authority, right? So basically it's equivalent with having power over somebody and abusing your power over them.
Okay, then that sounds like something I would be against.
You would be against, right? So if the powerful should not have the right to oppress somebody, does that mean that the powerful have the obligation to never oppress somebody else?
The obligation to never oppress somebody else.
Yeah.
It seems like you're trying to get somewhere here.
You will see where I'm trying to get at. Yeah, but like I'm just trying to point out the fact that when I ask you if the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless, you said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that the negation of that means that the powerful have the obligation to not oppress the powerless?
Well, but that isn't quite the same. Because I don't think, I might think this, but I don't think it means exactly the same because sometimes the powerful don't actively oppress the oppressed.
Yeah.
It's simply like a person that comes across being powerful for some structural reason ends up by just existing having an oppression on the powerless.
No, I understand what you mean. Yeah, but
But yes, I guess they have an obligation not to actively
Exactly.
take action that directly oppresses
no
someone else.
intentional oppression, right?
Okay,
and
yeah,
and if they are somehow, as you said, in a position where they are participating in oppression, that they have the obligation to stop if they can.
Yeah, I think it's something that it's better to talk to in a case-by-case scenario,
Fair
but in
enough,
general...
fair enough. I appreciate
okay.
it. Okay, then let me go on with this. What if the powerful benefit from the oppression? Does that make it right?
Well, of course, then why else would they do it?
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. So it doesn't make it right. Okay, and what if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
Well, I think that's better for the powerful.
That's better for the powerful, but it still makes it wrong, right?
Uh,
Is oppression okay if the other individual that you're oppressing doesn't realize that they're oppressed?
No, I think there you're getting... I mean, the rational answer is no, but I think you're getting into more complicated territory, and I think it's going to come back to what you asked me about
It's
the
my
pets,
next question.
about the pets,
Exactly, yeah.
about is having a pet,
Yeah,
technically
yeah.
having someone oppressed, and you can take it back to societies like 500 years ago where there was like a feudal lord, and it was like
Before
a
we
king.
get into pets,
Okay.
I just want to ask you. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I'm
there.
sorry, I'm getting ahead, I think.
Yeah, it's okay. That's fine. I like it. That means you're thinking ahead. It's nice. So then, this is my final question, and this is really why I do the social experiment. It's, do you think we're oppressing animals when we're forcing them into slaughterhouses for us, for food, for clothing, or for other causes?
I don't see animals as people.
No.
I think I eat meat. I'm for eating meat. Of course, the current slaughterhouses that we have, I think it's a little too much.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's why I try to consume local products from farms. It's more expensive, but I think it's more moral.
What do you say is too much? Can I ask? Well, what does that mean, too much?
Well, I don't give value to the life of an animal in any scale relatively remotely similar to something like a human. I believe in the chain of life. I think a cow is meant to be eaten by me, just like I'm meant to die. And
But that's your own
food-
thinking, right? Because at the
Yeah,
end of
this is
the-
my opinion. This is
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
Of course,
Because let me ask you, because you said you don't give any value to animals, but
No, I do
Do
give
you-
value, but not in the same scale that I
Yeah.
would give to a human.
Fair enough. But do you think that you give me the same value as you do your girlfriend?
Well, she's not my girlfriend,
Oh, sorry.
depends what you mean by that. Are you asking about the worth of your lives?
Well, what I'm trying to get at is that, of course, we can ascribe value to individuals, right? Like I can say that you have less value to me than my family does,
Of
right?
course.
Of course.
But that
And,
doesn't mean I think her life is worth more than yours per se.
No, it doesn't mean. And why
Yeah.
doesn't that mean? Because we each have our own individual value, right? We each have our own intrinsic value, not the value that others prescribe on us, but rather the value of us existing and being sentient, of having emotions and a subjective experience.
Yes, given to us by God.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't believe in God,
okay,
but if
yeah.
you believe in that, that's okay. And but animals have all of this. Animals have subjective experiences, they have sentience, and they also have value of their own and a desire to live. Us ascribing value to them, do you think it's fair that we say, hey, your purpose is to be my slave and for me to kill you and to eat you? Do you think that's fair towards them?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at in this house. I'm completely against this current slaughterhouse. Was if you see like the videos from huge farms in somewhere lost, they have the pigs that they don't practically have lives. They just are in a dark room for the entire lives. They don't see any of their children. I'm against that.
Okay.
Against that, and I eat meat, and I try to consume as much because I think the way it should work. It's an animal lives in a farm like a pig, in better or worse conditions. I do believe that the conditions could get in sometimes bad, like the pigs are not going to be eating their own ham at some times, but I do think there's a limit to what dignity should the life of an animal be given. But I do agree that life should end. There are sources of food to us.
Do you think we should? So in a
That's
sense,
what I
you're
think.
saying we should be respecting animals, right?
We should still be killing them and eating them and breeding them for
Should
food.
we?
I believe so, yes.
When we have readily available options, when we have everything else that doesn't kill them, why do you think it's okay to do this to them when we can choose not to do this to them?
Well, but let me ask you this. Is it worse to live a terrible life or never to have lived at all? Because those animals only exist to give us food. They don't
That's a
exist
very
for
good
anything
point.
else.
That's a very good point. So in a sense, they wouldn't be brought into existence. And if you ask me, an existence of completely of exploitation with a purpose of me being exploited and being killed, I would rather not exist. Yes.
And that's why I think the current slaughterhouses are too bad. But I think the life in a farm where you eat.
But in
and then
farms,
you
they're
know,
also exploited. Why do you
course,
think
yeah.
that on farms they're not exploited? Do you know what happens to
course they're
dairy
exploited.
cows, for
And-
example?
Yeah. What? Sorry.
Do you know what happens to dairy cows, for example?
To what?
Dairy cows, the cows that produce
Yes.
milk.
What happens to them?
Do you know why cows produce milk, for example?
Why what?
Why do cows produce milk?
Well, to give to their babies.
Exactly, right? So farmers, they forcefully impregnate them, first of all. They don't just get pregnant on their own when they want to. Like literally, somebody puts their hands in their anus, hold their cervix, and inject blood semen in their vagina. That's the standard practice, and it happens especially in small farms, because larger farms can afford to have a bull, whereas small farms can't. So they just buy the semen from somebody else and they forcibly impregnate. Do you think that's not sexual exploitation from the start? Controlling their
Sexual exploitation.
Well, isn't it controlling their sexual reproduction for our benefit? It's not for their benefit. We don't bring their babies to life because we say, I want to give you a
I would
life.
never use the word sexual to describe the life of an animal. It
We'll
can be
literally put
physical.
their hand in their anus and we inject bull semen in their vagina. Is that not sexual?
Well, that's physical exploitation. I would take that, but I wouldn't say sexual.
Fair enough, whatever. It's
It's
reproduction.
semantics. It's semantics.
Semantics,
it's
yeah.
semantics.
We don't care about semantics.
What do you think about that practice?
But let me ask you
Let-
even further.
Can I be really brutally honest? And I
Yeah.
think this is not going to be a very good take for me. Look, I see them as food. I mean, I think cows, they're animals and they have some rights, but I'm not against impregnating them and
Let me ask you
their
even
life
further.
being for.
Just to be sure that we finish
to
on this
feed
and
us.
then we go back to this, okay?
Sure.
What do you think happens to the babies when they're born?
They're separated from the cows. They
Yeah.
are fed. They are
Yeah, they're separated because they would drink their milk, and then if they're male, they don't produce milk. So what
and they are
happens?
fed whatever bullshit, some
Yeah.
chemical.
Yeah. And if they're male, what do you think happens to them?
Sorry.
If they're male, they're born male. They weren't lucky to be born female. Lucky, but they're born male.
I
What do you
guess
think?
that's like being born a girl in China.
Well, no, because they get killed. They don't produce any milk, so they're not useful, right? They can't be exploited, so they get killed. They get used for their flesh. And if they're female, yeah, year-over-year forceful impregnation, up until the farmer can no longer impregnate them with ease. And that happens around 6 years, and they can live up to 25 years, and they get killed at 6 years.
Okay, and this is okay. This is not an ideal situation. And what
But
do
this
you?
is in
What do you?
small
But
farms
what do
also,
you?
by the
But what
way.
do you propose?
That
What-
we just
wh-
don't
wh-
participate in any of it.
So I guess you're vegan,
Yeah.
and you think people should be vegan for?
Well, I think people should be vegan because I think animals deserve the basic body autonomy that we all deserve.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
basically,
you
not for 99% of them not existing because none of the cows would be alive if it wasn't for our food. would it?
Doesn't matter. I wouldn't like me.
Yeah,
would
I
it be
get-
let me ask you this: would it be fair for me to bring to life a child only for me to exploit them, and then to say, "Hey, at least I gave you life"?
No. Of course. No. I mean, I think it's a fair point. And the question is this: is it worth me eating a hamburger or tal? Is it worth?
Well, there
what
is
happens to
always
the
a
cows?
plant-based burger, right? And there is a taste difference. I understand based on it, right? But do you think that the taste difference justifies forcing a sentient being into a slaughterhouse?
That's not a real food. I mean, if I was
It is
to
real
become
food,
vegan,
right?
I wouldn't be eating those carbon-based synthetic meats. I would just eat real
Those
food
are
that
made
is
from-
plants.
Some of them are made of soy, some of them are made of tofu. Not all of them are artificial, as you call it. But even if whether it's artificial or natural doesn't really matter, right? Like if we're to talk about health, but I don't want to get into health. I really want to get into morals.
Yeah,
here.
no, I think it's
And,
it's a more interesting conversation.
It's
of
also
course.
more important, right? Because at the end of the day, we are creating a trail of victims when we make these choices, and we can choose otherwise.
I think we went wrong at some point. If you're looking at some point,
100%, yeah. As humanity.
go,
you
go
mean.
like 1,000 years ago. The cows fucked themselves how they wanted, and we still ate meat.
Yeah, but we started cutting
that's a-
corners because we said exactly this what you said just now. They are food for us. They don't mean anything to us.
Well, but
Therefore, we can
1,000
cut
years ago
corners
they
and-
were food too. We just didn't know how to put the semen
No,
directly into
maybe,
the cow.
Maybe
which
at
is-
some point, I don't know. Like I can't speak to how they were thinking about 1,000 years ago.
¿Cómo vamos de
but-
tiempo? Sorry, we might have to leave in.
Okay, that's fine. That's I just wanted because like let me put it this way. Would you do this to dogs?
Oh yes, I don't.
You don't.
I-
so you have
I-
no. You don't make any moral distinction between dogs, cows, cats, pigs, chickens. You would eat and kill any one of them. They're all food to you.
No, because dog meat is not as good as cow meat. It's
Just
it's not
strictly
as
because
nutritive.
because you don't like the dog meat as much.
Yeah, I don't have any moral. I don't think of dogs any highly I guess they are more intelligent, but no.
I mean, dogs are actually less intelligent than pigs. Pigs are actually more intelligent than dogs.
Really?
But
Well,
yeah,
then
pigs are actually the fourth most intelligent animal in the
Well,
world.
then that goes to my point. No,
Yeah,
I don't
they're-
differentiate between a
Yeah.
dog. But if I had a pet, you would have pulled that one on me. Eh?
No. The whole reason why I ask about pets in the first time is because I want to get people to try to tell me a little bit about their pets and tell me how they feel, how they think, and then I want to ask them, well, why would you assume that animals in slaughterhouses don't feel or think in the same way? You know, because that's the reality. We ascribe these. We see, or we don't even ascribe it. The reality is we see the personalities in dogs. You have seen dogs, you have seen cats, and you have seen that some of them look identical but behave totally different, right?
Oh no, yeah, I'm sure cows and pigs in slaughterhouses
Yeah.
they feel.
They feel they have personalities. So what is exactly the difference between? Because you would never ever put a human in these situations so that you can get their meat, right? So then I ask you, let's say if it were healthy and legal for you, why wouldn't you put a human instead of a cow? Like why? What is the difference between them that justifies the difference in treatment?
Well, for me, I'm like first of all religion. First, that would be my first.
let's put it on the side a
Okay,
little
I
bit,
know,
yeah.
I know you don't want to play with that, but
Yeah.
but clearly religion. Like for
Yeah,
me,
but my
it makes
religion
no
might
sense.
might allow it, right? So again, it doesn't.
But mine doesn't. So that,
Yeah.
that works for me. But
That
okay,
I
let's
understand
try
that.
to keep that aside. I guess pure intelligence, I would say. I mean,
Yeah, but then okay, when we say pure intelligence, do you acknowledge that there's individuals on this world, like people who don't have the intelligence of that we do, that are basically the intelligence of a pig or of a cow, that have the same cognitive capabilities of them, like people who are made intellectually challenged or who have been stuck at the age of 2 or 3 who
Yeah.
can't talk or
then I guess those people were just lucky to be human.
yeah, they're
that's what I
lucky.
would
They're
say.
lucky to be human. But do you think should we do this to them? Should we force breed them and kill them to eat their
No,
flesh?
of course not, because they got lucky and they were human. If
They
they were
got
born
lucky and
pigs
they're
or cows, they would be.
But then
they
do you
would
see
have
that
been-
we draw this artificial line of these individuals belong to the same group that I do, therefore they shouldn't be.
In my opinion, they don't.
Us.
Yeah, of course. They
Yeah.
belong to the same group as I do, and pigs and cows don't.
Yeah, but
They
do
belong
you
to
think-
another group.
Do you
They are
think
animals.
this form of moral justifying horrible acts is fair? Because we used this logic when we when we did racism, when we did all sorts of like. Anti-Semitism is the same, right? These people belong to a different group. These individuals belong to a different group. Therefore, they're not as deserving as I am. I deserve
Yes.
better, right?
I
That's
deserve
kind of
better,
what we
yes.
say. That's kind of what you're saying. You as a human being.
Yes,
you're-
that's what I believe. Yes.
So then, do you think the same about racism? Because you're a white man, you deserve better than a black man?
No, I didn't say that.
Why is that? Why is it that this line? You see what I mean?
Yes,
That
my
because
line
of-
is in humanity. It's a very clear line. It's an artificial line. You can call it whatever you want, but
But
it's
it's
a
still
line
an arbitrary line.
completely arbitrary. Well, in fact, for me, not because of religion. But if it wasn't because of that, it would be an
Okay,
arbitrary
let's
line.
talk
And I
religion.
drew it there.
What religion are you part
I'm
of?
Catholic.
You're Catholic, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in a Catholic religion, right? Do you think that God, your God, do you think that He prefers that you kill an animal or not when you have the option to not?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think it goes to that same old line that we had before. That at what point is a farmer exploiting an animal? Yeah, I think my religion would agree with that sort of viewpoint that we established before, where back then it was okay to kill the cows because they were living, how would say, with dignity.
I mean, we can
Lives
agree to
with some
disagree about
dignity.
back then, but today.
But today there's no dignity. No, I would say, yeah, that's
Like
probably
imagine
frowned
dairy
upon.
cows, right? What we just discussed. It happens on small farms, large farms, biological farms, local farms. All of them it happens. what I
Okay.
mentioned. Imagine this. Would you think God, your God, approves of what we do to cows? Forcefully impregnate them, take their babies and kill them and kill their babies?
I think if
Just so that we
if
can
all
have
of that,
something we
if,
don't need.
if all of that,
Yeah.
if all of that contributed to actual human persons being less hungry and being mortal and having better lives and being able to eat, then yes,
So if humans get the benefit from it, that's what you're saying.
exactly.
Yeah,
and,
but-
and that's oppression.
But
Yes,
let
it
me,
is.
let me ask you this way: like, if I decide to kick an animal to death, like just beat the shit out of them, do you think God would like that? Because I benefit from it. I
No,
get
you don't.
muscles. Yeah. What do you mean? I hang them up by their neck
Yeah, I get
and I use them
muscles.
as a punching bag. I get muscles from it. I get
Okay.
health. What do you mean?
No, you don't
And I
get
do that every day with a different animal, and therefore I will become buff by doing this, right? What is the same logic you're using?
Yes,
it's just
because
that
I
for
could
you-
also eat plants. I know what
Exactly,
you're getting
right?
at. Yeah,
You
I
always
could
have
also
an
eat plants, and I
alternative.
would also be.
You're very
It's-
smart.
it's-
What do you
it-
mean?
it's not the same. It's not the same. And
What
you
is
know,
the
it's
difference?
It's not the same. you need like to have a healthy life. You need protein. You need animal protein.
You can get no. You don't need animal protein. First
Yes,
of all,
you do.
I'm studying to be a certified nutritionist, and I can tell you for a fact that you don't need, right? But we can agree to disagree on this one. If you have a strong belief that you do, I'll just tell you we don't. You can look it up, and if you don't trust me, but let's hypothetically going forward, believing that we don't need animal protein, right? That we can get all our nutrients that we.
Okay,
need
last
from
questions,
plants.
cause
Okay,
I like to speaking with you, but I having your waiting
Yeah,
here.
I
don't
get
want
it.
to.
But if we can
So
get
last
all the nutrients that we want
Okay.
from plants, is there any justification? All the nutrients, enough taste, all the taste that we want, just different, right? Not the same, just different, not better or worse. If we can get all that from plants and plant-based products, what is it? How can we morally justify forcing innocent sentient beings into slaughterhouses for us, or killing them regardless if we treat them nicely or not? Exploiting them, all of this.
But I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's a current. I think you're making up a false world we don't live in right now.
What do you mean? Which
I
part
mean,
of it?
we're currently killing millions upon millions upon millions of cows. If we were to suddenly stop, there would be
Billions.
There would be if we were to suddenly stop. There are no there's no food for everyone.
What do you think these animals are fed?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Oh yeah, cows in the Netherlands, the cows that you see on the field, they're fed
but-
grass-fed.
Yeah, they're grass-fed.
50% of their 40% of it is soy and corn. Most of
Yeah,
the
but it's
soy,
raw soy and corn. It's not
most-
produced like the way you
doesn't
have
matter.
at
Most
like
of
the
the
way you have at the
soy,
market.
most of the soy, most of the corn grown worldwide is grown to feed the animals. If the whole world were to go vegan, we would have more land for food. We could fix world hunger and still have more land where we would forest and have a better environmental impact. Like it would be monumentally better
Oh,
for
I
everybody.
agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
The
so-
meat industry is terrible for the environment.
But yet you support it.
Oh yes, very much. But I also support many other things that are terrible for the environment.
Yeah, fair enough. But that's why I don't want to talk about the environment. It's about the individuals and the morally doing this to them, right?
I
Amsterdam.
want to see if someone says anything. I am not worth the effort. Pia Ogilvy doesn't like me. Well, I'm gonna leave, man. I was nice talking to you, but I have to get going.
I just want to ask you, how many more animals do you want to be exploited for you?
Do I have to give you a number?
No, I'm just curious because, like, you just seem to you seem so confident in your choice of being okay with animal exploitation, but at the same time, you so very clearly define it and justify and explain how it is wrong, that what we do to it. And somehow, somewhere in you, what you're saying is that what you're doing is wrong, but somehow in you, you have this powerful will to say, hell no, I'll continue doing it. Why is that? Why do you want to say that?
You know, you're completely right on that one.
Yeah, why do you want to continue doing it if, like, I'm not here, by the way, I'm not here trying to convince you that I'm right or you're wrong. This isn't a thing. I'm just here speaking on their behalf. That's all I care about. That's all I care, that none of them
On
go to
behalf of
slaughterhouses.
the animals.
Yeah, because if you were in their shoes, I would speak for you also, you know? That's the whole point about it. It's not, I know it can seem like I'm against you, but I'm not. I'm literally here to help you become vegan and give you resources and help you with all this.
No.
I don't want to
Okay, you made me think.
Can I give you some resources to look
No,
into?
thank you. I
No?
want to get them.
You want? Okay.
Completely honest. But you
Okay, I
made me
appreciate you, but please don't think too much and act, because any animal, any individual, if you're in their shoes, you wouldn't want the other person to say, I'll think about it, we'll see. You want them to say, fuck no, I'll stop. I don't want to go into that slaughterhouse. I don't want to be exploited or killed.
I'll see why I do. I'll
Okay.
decide first.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, have a good one.
Can I have your account?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one. He's in denial. That's why he won't take the resources. Yeah, I mean, he was clearly smart, but what I said at the end, I do think it was very true about him. He had this position where he really wanted to. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? He had this position where he wanted to justify what he's doing as something right or wrong, and and that's the thing, right? To all you people also watching, I'm not here to judge people, or maybe I will judge some people from here, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here trying to talk to them and show them that there are better ways, that you don't have to live in this contradiction yourself, that you can choose otherwise, and that it is easy. So that's what we're here trying to do. And speaking of, hello everyone and welcome to the stream. If you're new here, please subscribe. I don't know. We're trying to get that number up of subscribers. Like the stream if you're enjoying it. And hey, even if you're not vegan or not plant-based or have never thought about it, maybe it will get you something to think about, right? I think there's nothing wrong with having more information, with knowing where you're at, with knowing what you're supporting, with knowing what you're doing, right? At the end of the day, you can make better informed decisions when you know what you're doing. That's all it is. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to inform. We're here to give people an avenue where they can make decisions. But of course, it can seem like I'm a bit pushy when I do that. But the only reason why it seems that way is because I am just trying to break through the barrier of, hey, you guys want to try a social experiment? I'm just trying to break through the barrier of this cognitive dissonance that we have. Our brain makes us not want to accept new information. Our brain inherently tells us, hey, don't listen to that. That's not true. You don't want to change because, requires more energy. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to change. But let me tell you, this change, it's not difficult at all. It's not. That's the reality. It's as easy as any other change. I think it's probably the easiest and best change you can ever make with your life. It's the lowest hanging fruit. And if you ever want your life to be better, and I'm not just talking about your morally, healthily, environmentally, whatever it is, you should look into it. You should look into veganism. You definitely get some benefit from it. Of course, you shouldn't do it for your benefit, but at least look into it for your benefit. And maybe, well, not maybe, but preferably do it for the animals to understand kind of what we're doing and kind of why we are who we are and what we're doing. So yeah, I see a donation. JD, thank you so much for donating. I appreciate you so much. Yeah. So let's see, maybe we can get a couple more people here. There's definitely a large crowd around the ice skate rink. So if we need to move there, we'll move there. My bladder status is okay, if anybody's asking. In case you don't know, everybody, people who are new here, the reason why we have ended these streams in the past couple of streams, past couple of 5-6 streams, was because I had to go to the bathroom, sadly, and I'm alone here, so nobody could look after my camera. Let's hope this doesn't happen today and that we get a long stream and that we get to talk to a lot of people and have a lot of nice conversations. So far the conversations have been pretty decent, diverse and stuff, so yeah. See, for that I'm going to eat double amount of meat, so when a vegan thinks they are making a difference, I'll be undoing their efforts. Well, first of all, no, you're not. You can eat double, you can eat triple, and you're still not undoing our efforts. What you're doing is you're just exploiting more innocent animals to make yourself feel better, to make yourself say, but it doesn't make a difference, when in reality, you are the one making a difference. You are the one actually doing something that is wrong. I'm not saying eating meat is wrong, I'm just saying exploiting animals, forcing them into slaughterhouses is wrong. So then, of course, inherently, you can eat plant-based meat, by the way. Plant-based. You guys want to try a social experiment? I see there's a lot of people in the chat, which I appreciate, people talking about it. Yeah, now that the sun has gone down, it's a bit chilly, I won't lie. Yeah. So hello, if you're here, if you're new here, hello, welcome. Here is the Christmas tree. You guys want to try a social experiment? We're here in Amsterdam. You guys want to try a social experiment?
What?
Just ask you some questions, get you to think a little bit.
It's a live stream, yeah?
It's on my YouTube, yeah.
Have fun, bro.
Okay. Looks very cold, says Martin. It is cold. Uh, but with the heated socks, which are amazing, it's better and better. Your feet are nice and toasty though. Exactly, Jackie. Thank you so much. Jackie's right on the money there. My feet are nice and toasty. Although the problem with these socks, which is kind of weird, is that they warm up the whole foot except for the toes, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, why would you warm up everything but the toes? The toes is usually the problematic area, the area that gets the coldest. But because everything else is warm, they also are okay. You guys want to try a social experiment? Whew. I have never been in better health since I gave up meat. No, Linda, 100%. It's been at least 10 years for me since I haven't eaten meat. And the reason why I started, I was a vegetarian before I was vegan, by the way. I'm not proud of it, but the reason why I became a vegetarian was because I read a lot about meat consumption and the indicators for health, and the reality is that most meat is very, very unhealthy to us. That's the sad reality. This isn't why I'm speaking here to people on the street. I'm merely talking about morals and trying to get them to see the perspective of the victims. But you should know that animal products, meat, all of it is just not very good for you. Saturated fat is not good for you, full stop. Yeah, I know there's people saying, well, no, fat is good. Fat is good, yes. Unsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat. Polyunsaturated fat, it's neither here nor there. There's conflicting studies, let's say, although the overwhelming evidence shows that they're definitely better than saturated fats. But monounsaturated fats are definitely good for you. So there you go. If that's what you want. If you want fat, eat monounsaturated fats, which usually come from plants. Beef liver is a nutrient-dense powerhouse. You know what's a nutrient-dense powerhouse? You know? Come on, you gotta know. A multivitamin. That's the most nutrient-dense thing. Hey, you wanna try a social experiment?
Oh yeah. I saw you. I drove by.
You okay if you're live on my YouTube channel?
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody.
What's your name?
Jan.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Are you
too.
Dutch? Are you here from
Yeah, I'm
Netherlands?
Dutch. Yeah.
Ah, nice. I live here. I'm not from here though.
Okay.
Do you have a pet or?
Well, I have pets in my mom's house, who I love. But
Oh,
yeah.
I appreciate it. Can you tell me a little bit about themselves?
With the pet?
Yeah.
Okay. There's 3 cats. One of them, the first one was, we got them as like twins. That one was red, the other one red checkered, the other one was black checkered. Yeah. And we kept the red one
Yeah.
because the black one passed away. So, and then we have 2 more, one from a kitten, it's like Tabby, and then the black cat, which is a bit shy.
Oh, I like that. Oh, you already described a little bit because I was going to ask you to describe a little bit their personalities, or if they have. Do they have any fears or things that they like to do? Or
They like to go outside, but they're not always allowed.
Yeah.
Because in the night in the cars, and maybe they get hit, and they like to, well, especially the black cat, it likes to sleep a lot in the hidden corners in the house. So I'm always, when I go there, I go and look for it.
Are they afraid of anything? Do they have any fears?
I don't think so. Mainly of each other, maybe.
Mainly of each other. Okay.
Yeah, like surrounding, like eating and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that if you were to put yourself in their shoes,
Yeah.
do you think any of these qualities that you described about them, do you think they're solely contingent on your existence or them being your pets, or are they just because they just were born with those qualities?
Yeah. Well, I think what you can notice, I'm not sure, at least like the Tabby one, we have him since he was a kitten.
Yeah.
And you can notice he's more trusting than the other ones.
Oh, nice.
Because we have 5 kids, 2 parents, he's always getting petted, and he's really grown up knowing that he's loved, I guess. Whereas the other ones, they have different background. So I would probably argue that, nurture has to do something with their personality.
Of course,
based
there
on
is
what
some
I have
nurture,
observed.
but do you think there's also some nature involved in this whole
Oh,
idea?
yeah, absolutely.
Like they also have a personality of their own, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, interesting. And do you think that all animals have that?
I think I would probably argue yes, but I think it's harder to observe in other animals.
Yeah,
For
because-
example, I have one pigeon. He
Yeah.
comes to my window every day, and
Oh, that's good.
yes, it's very nice.
Yeah.
And then I feed him. I put some seeds in the morning, and then I talk to him a bit.
Yeah, that's nice. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Yeah.
But and he also has like 2 other pigeons that come,
yeah.
and they behave different than him. So in that sense, I think probably he's more inquisitive because he by himself already came to my window where his friends did not, and now he's also more trusting. So maybe that's his nature. Yes.
I love it. So I feel like from what I get from you is that you have this empathy also towards animals, right? You have this
Yeah,
because you said that you give this pigeon some treats, and
Yeah.
he comes every day for you. Oh, that's very cute, very very nice.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, and you said as you acknowledge that other animals have it. Do you think, for example, animals in slaughterhouse that we force into slaughterhouses for our food or clothing, do you think they have these qualities?
Yeah, but you're asking like the wrong person because I'm like I support pig well-being charities and stuff, and I'm vegetarian. I used to be vegan, so I mean obviously I'm gonna give this answer, but so yeah, I absolutely believe that.
Interesting. So you said you're vegetarian, but you used to be vegan.
Yeah.
What is it that changed? Why are you no longer vegan? And what do you understand by being vegan? I'll ask you. Well, let me ask. Let's go first there.
Yeah.
What do you think being vegan is?
Being vegan is not consuming any product that is produced using any input from animals. So be it their meat, but maybe also their skin or their hairs,
So that's like a consequence of being vegan. The reality is that veganism, as definition, means it's a moral stance of rejecting animal exploitation.
I would argue the other way around.
Oh no, that's how it is.
Okay.
That's the so Leslie Cross, who's one of the founder of veganism,
Yeah.
is said that being veganism is the moral principle where we reject.
And as a result, you cannot.
And as a
Yeah,
result,
yeah,
you don't eat animal products,
Okay, I
you
see,
don't wear
yeah.
leather or stuff like that. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, what got you to come back and exploit some animals when we became
Putting the
vegetarian?
finger on the spot, eh?
Yeah.
I think probably another value for me is that it also brings some benefit to me to eat it because I like the taste of it.
Yeah.
I mean, then I'm talking about maybe like cheese or milk products in a cookie.
Yeah.
And also also ease because, for example, if I go to my grandma and I have to reject the cookie, that's a bit. I don't mind it too much, but it's actually an extra thing to think about. So my perception of it is that I can get almost all of the anti-cruelty benefits for like the last percentage of effort because I already don't buy milk, for example, or stuff like that.
Yeah. But cheese is dairy product.
Yeah, I also don't buy that, but like.
Ah.
But it's just when it's integrated in stuff or order a pizza in a restaurant, I'm really.
So when you order a pizza, you buy cheese.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm saying is that
What you're saying is
there's a lot of gain in the first steps you take, and then they get smaller and smaller
Yeah.
by more and more effort. And I shifted the balance from fully vegan to maybe 80% vegan.
Okay, and that's
So-
obviously 80% vegan is better than not at all, right?
Yeah.
But of course, and we mean plant-based because, as I said, vegan. You
Okay.
can't really be 80% vegan because
Yeah,
you can't say
your diet is 80%
yeah,
plant-based,
80%
okay.
is plant-based, and vegan
Yeah.
just means this idea of rejecting animal exploitation, right?
Yeah.
So, do you know what happens to dairy cows, for example? Do you know anything about the dairy industry?
Yeah.
Can you walk me through it? I just want to be sure that you are.
Basically, a cow gets made pregnant by the hand of the doctor.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the baby is born, it gets taken away.
Yeah.
So that the cow gets basically milked every day. So its body thinks the baby cow is drinking the milk, but instead it's actually producing it for us, and the baby cow gets fed something else. And
If the baby cow is born male, what happens to them?
he either gets grown larger and gets killed, or he gets killed immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And when the farmers can no longer impregnate the cows, what happens to them?
They also get killed.
Yeah. Do you know at what percentage of their lifespan that happens then?
No.
No, so it happens usually between 6 to 8 years, and they can live up to 24, 25 years. So like a quarter of their lifespan. Yeah. So would you say that this is abusive or wrong?
Yeah, I think it's probably it is probably sort of yes.
Yeah.
And then I would also reflect on that it's probably inconsistent in my daily reasoning.
Exactly. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean-
appreciate you saying it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because I was already vegetarian when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
25
that's
now.
very nice.
So I used to
Yeah.
be on the other side of this conversation.
Yeah.
And I know the reasoning,
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah.
I'm also being inconsistent with it myself, or maybe don't have maybe not putting that value above some other things, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand that it can seem difficult in certain situations to
Yeah.
maintain our status as vegans. Because as you said, if your grandma gives you a cookie, it kind of feels weird to reject it, right? That's kind of what you're saying. But, you know, I think that if you think from the perspective of the other side, the victims, where there's animals, as I said, what happens to dairy cows.
Yeah.
Maybe when you accept or reject your grandma's cookies, maybe that's way too little. I would say it's still something. It's still a
It's
idea.
insignificant compared to that.
It's insignificant, but like when you buy a pizza, for example,
Yeah.
you're
choice.
creating demand. You're creating
Yeah,
demand
yeah.
for animals to be exploited, for more animals for more cheese to be provided, for more cows to go into that system, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think? I don't know. Like you mentioned that you're inconsistent. Is there anything that would get you to be consistent in this value? Like, what is holding you back from being vegan?
I think probably that it slipped back into like something. Oh yeah, it's all right. I'm already doing a very good job, which
Yeah.
I really think I am, by the way.
Yeah.
Compared to what you can, the baseline, what you can do. So I think actually this conversation is helping a lot. It makes me really reconsider. Yeah, it is. Morally inconsistent with my own values.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, compared to like, why would I feed this pigeon?
Exactly.
I love him so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like you would feed this pigeon, you love them so much, but would you find it in yourself to do what we do to cows, to that pigeon, to those cats, to any of them, to forcefully impregnate and take their babies? Or
Yeah.
I guess with a pigeon it's more difficult.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, once again, like, it's
I know that we live in a society, because
Yeah.
that's the reality, right? These industries, they hide this from us, and it's so easy to get to dissociate and to be like,
Yes.
you don't really see what's happening.
Yeah.
But on the other side, when we make these choices, this is happening regardless whether we see it or not, right? It happens regardless whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So, do you think it's important that we try and make these choices always the right choices, always to be consistent with our moral values?
yeah. I think absolutely. I think I should.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
maybe I will.
That's cool. Okay, and let me pose this hypothetical for you.
Yeah.
Let's say if somebody's kicking a dog on the street.
Yeah.
Would you say something? Would you go and join them? Would you ignore it, or would you say something?
I know where this is going. I would say something.
You would say something,
Yeah.
right? So if I bring it back to what happens to animals in the dairy, or in the whole animal agriculture, right? Animals are suffering way worse than being kicked, right? As we discussed, and as you probably already know, right?
Yeah.
When we're joining them, it's the same equivalence of us buying animal products, like you buying a pizza with cheese on it, right?
Yeah.
When we're ignoring it, it's the same as being vegan but not doing anything about it. And when we say, I'm going to say something, is what I'm doing now. It's being active and trying
Yeah.
to speak up on their behalf and say, hey, stop doing this, right? Which part of this would you want to be on for animal agriculture?
I would probably want to act in the same way as I would when I see a dog being kicked.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, probably realize that maybe it's a lot. When I see somebody kicking a dog, it's very easy
Yeah.
because you can say, hey, don't do that. And there's probably ways I can do that, about animal agriculture as well.
Yeah.
So I should probably do that.
Do you want to do you live in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
So we do it on this Sunday,
Yeah.
and once every 2 weeks. There's a thing called We the Free. Have you ever heard about We the Free?
No.
So we're an animal rights activist group where we sit and talk to people in the street, kind of like we're discussing now.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't have to do any of it. You don't have to discuss to people. You can just come and join our group, see what we do.
Yeah.
Does that sound interesting to you?
Yeah.
And
it
you may
does.
also find some other vegan people and kind of see this incentives where we don't want to do this to animals.
Yes.
You feel like you want to try that?
I would do that, but not in this year because I have exam periods, so I
Okay,
need to,
fair
I
enough.
need
Fair
to study.
enough. Fair enough. I understand that.
So do you have like a signal group or something? I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
join?
yeah.
Okay.
I can give you a card and actually, oh, my phone is there. I was
And then
gonna say.
just a question: what am I? What's happening with all my answers now?
Oh, this is live, by the way. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No,
to
I
mention.
realized
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. What's happening with all your answers? I don't know. This is what you want to do with them, right?
Okay,
do you
okay.
want to be vegan or do you like?
No,
let me
I
ask you,
understand that.
How many
but
more
I'm not, there's not
animals?
going to be like a compilation or a roast.
Oh, no, 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 no,
Okay,
no. I don't
okay.
do that. I don't care
Okay.
about that. So, how many more animals do you want to be exploited for you before you make this change? It's a hard question.
Probably 0.
Yeah, you have to be vegan for that, right?
Yeah.
There's no other way around
Yeah.
that. Do you have any questions for me? I'm vegan. I'm also an animal rights activist. Do you study at UVA, by the way?
I study at UVA, yeah. But okay, yes, I have a question. So, for me, like I was vegan for a few years, right,
Yeah.
and vegetarian most of my life. So, all your points, they really resonate with me.
Yeah.
And actually now they are so at the forefront of my mind. Like it would be super easy for me now to cook, for 1 month vegan. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will probably.
Yeah.
But and that's a question for you
Yeah.
as somebody with a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
How do you I have lots of other things going on
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
how do
I
you make sure
appreciate
this stays at the forefront of your mind?
That's a very good question. I think doing activism helps, right?
Yeah.
Like as I said, meeting with other fellow vegans, fellow activists helps
Yeah.
out a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe if you don't have time for that, there's YouTube channels like my own. Like I have a friend called Skyjack Morgan. He has a YouTube channel where literally his whole point is to build a community for vegans, and
Yeah.
he discusses. And I don't always watch his shows, but he does it daily live, and it's
Like
you
this?
go like this, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
he doesn't speak to people on the street, but he rather just talks about some news, has a guest, and you can just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
in the chat with other vegans, and it's so nice because you get that sense of community still
Yeah.
without ever having to do that much extra effort, right? Like
Yeah.
as you said, you have to study and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, I found that the easiest way to be consistent with this and not fall back
Stay informed, like
is stay informed and try to get some vegan people around you or
Yeah.
animal rights activists around you, because that
Yeah.
really helps out with as I said, this industries they try to they make it as if it's nothing.
Yeah.
I understand especially when you mention the pizza, right?
Yeah.
Like we see it and we don't even think about the horrors that these animals go through. It's so easy to dissociate.
It's very easy to dissociate. Yeah.
It is. But the sad, it has happened to me that I ordered the pizza and it didn't come up a vegan pizza. I hated when that happened.
Yeah.
But I don't beat myself up, and then I say, okay, you know what? Well, next time I have to be careful. And I think if you live in Amsterdam, nowadays you have vegan pizzas everywhere.
Oh
you
yeah,
have
no,
so many
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can give you some extremely good advice.
Well, this
but
is a good advice.
Community
Because
is the one
it has
thing
made
that
me
helps more
realize
than
like
anything.
what I have with a lot of things. Like I do research into something.
Yeah.
For school or something for like I don't know 2-3 days a week, and I'm really into it. I'm really understanding a lot about it. And then I close my tabs. I got off these websites. I stop looking at what these people are doing,
Yeah.
and then I forget about it. But with some of these things, like I subscribe to a few newsletters, or I follow somebody on the social media,
Yeah.
and then it stays recurring into my. So that's maybe I should do that.
Yeah,
This-
yeah, exactly. Like try to surround yourself with people like this.
Yeah,
especially
but
the-
also digitally, I think.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
digitally is the first step that helps out a lot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then if you ever feel like you want to join We the Free, which would be awesome,
Yeah.
we have dinner afterwards. We talk, and not everybody, by the way, does activism. Some people just join and to be surrounded by other fellow vegans.
Yeah. Okay, great initiative.
Yeah.
And
that's-
thank you for this conversation because you've really put me on the spot, but in the right way.
I appreciate you being so open-minded, man. I talk to a lot of people. Not everybody is as open-minded as you, which is I really appreciate it. And it's a breath of fresh air to hear you be so young and so open-minded. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. It gives me hope,
Okay,
It gives me
thank
hope
you.
to see.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
gotta make this change. Otherwise,
Yes.
it means nothing, us having these conversations and doing, It's just,
Okay.
what do you call it? Lip service if we just have this and
True.
we change.
Okay. I will definitely cook vegan tonight.
Appreciate that.
And then what about this on camera? I will every meal I have the choice over, so I'm not counting Christmas at my in-laws and stuff. That's really
Okay.
hard, but I will eat vegan.
Listen, if you have the option, always choose. That's what you're saying, right?
Mhm.
If you have the option to choose differently,
Yeah.
choose differently, right?
Excellent. Okay. So which is also my own.
Which is kind of
cooking
what
and
I
stuff.
want you to do, but also be aware of the options, right? Like, don't just
Yeah.
fall back to the idea that, hey, I don't have an option, whatever, right? Like,
No, yeah, I know.
maybe
I
you
was vegan,
actually
you
do
know,
have
like
an
I know how
option.
it is.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give you a card.
Okay.
You have my social media there. It's called Vegan Power Lab. That's my
Okay.
YouTube channel.
Great.
And yeah, I also am on Instagram and shit. So if you want to join We the Free or something,
That would be great. Yeah, I will. I really like that. So I want to support you guys. So
there's also plant-based universities. I'm not sure if UVA is part of it, but I know the University of Utrecht is. So I don't see why University of Amsterdam wouldn't.
I think that I think their cafe everything is vegan. VU is not. So maybe if you have Vrije Universiteit students come here, then you can talk to them.
Fair enough.
So yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having this conversation with me. What was your name again? I'm sorry. I
Jan.
forgot. Jan.
Yeah.
I'm Chip. Nice to meet you, Jan.
Yeah, you too. And so just in out of interest.
Yeah.
So sometimes you probably get people here who are like, you know, they don't want to hear it. How does it go then?
You know, I'm respectful with people generally,
Yeah.
so I don't call them names or something. Some people do take me off, and I can't help it. But most of the times I'm respectful to people, and a lot of the people sometimes they get offended and they leave because you know when your beliefs are challenged, you feel bad about the things you do.
Even
and then
I,
you
you
get
know,
pissed.
and I feel like they are not too bad.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's just it.
Yeah.
That's the worst that can happen. Usually,
Yeah.
people are just getting offended and leaving. Otherwise, no, nothing. There's people and people. There's people who are go like, yeah, it's wrong, but I'll continue eating my meat. I love my meat and stuff like that. That's usually the answer.
Yeah.
That's most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think, I mean, I'll leave you to talk to other people, but like what I really noticed when I was younger, that people, nobody was vegetarian, so, and then I really stopped doing this, what you're doing, because it meets a lot of resistance, and then once I like, my friend was buying this kipfilet, like chicken fillet, like super cheap, and putting it on his bread and eating that every day when we were on holiday. I was telling him off like, oh, come on, what are you doing? Like, it's
so hard when you don't have vegan friends. I understand.
and it's like so gross.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
and then we had like a bit of a fight about it, and he didn't really want to hear my arguments about why you shouldn't do it.
So difficult with friends, man. I get it.
Yeah. See, somebody's. But then I told him about it, and then like calmly, and then a few weeks later he had a conversation with somebody calmly, and he said, and then he changed his mind. So you know, it's about this. You need to establish like a peaceful way of talking about it, and then people are open to it.
It's also very
So
difficult
that's
with
good.
friends. Yeah, with strangers it's a bit easier. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I
But
guess
with
you never
friends,
need to
it's
see me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just that, but like friends, you know, they have this position where you're like, oh, what is? You think you're better than me or something? They instantly get this position where you're
it's hard
like,
to.
It's not the point. That's not the point. Like
Yeah.
when I became vegan and I told my friends, like for me when I became vegan, I was finding out what happens to dairy cows.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, there's no way it's happening in the Netherlands. I look it up, and even worse things are happening here. So I'm like, holy shit, that's awful.
Yeah.
So then I literally wrote in my friend group about it, about, hey, look what's happening to dairy cows. It's
Yeah.
awful. I became vegan.
Uh-huh.
What do you guys think? And literally everybody became like, oh, I'm gonna continue eating my meat. What the hell? Do you think you're superior now or something?
Yeah.
Like literally their mind, as if they turned off and they became somebody else. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
insane.
interesting.
That's why when I did activism, I started having vegan friends, and it just became easier and easier.
Yeah. And it's here nice because you invite people to come talk to you. So that
Exactly.
really helps.
Yeah.
Okay, well, bye everybody. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah. Thanks, Jan. And
Yeah.
have a good day. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
A good vegan day.
I hope you convince some people.
Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Another discussion. Nice lit Christmas tree in the background. Yeah. Hello, everyone. You can't really see me very well now because the light is right behind me. Still, I hope you're okay with that. I'm trying to see if I can move maybe somewhere where there's a little bit more light. Maybe let's see. Let's try and move this a little bit. I hope you have enjoyed that conversation. That seemed, and it's also, you see, people who become ex-vegan don't really become ex-vegan because they disagree with the message, or they don't really understand the message, but rather sometimes they just have difficulty because they're not surrounded, because community and other stuff. So I think it's important that we also acknowledge these things, right? Okay, I'm gonna try to move a little bit closer to that area Just gonna take it slow, okay? It's a little bit better lit, see here, because there's a pole. Okay, I think this will be fine. It's a little bit better. There's a little bit more light, isn't there? Should we get even closer? Yeah. Maybe this is the best lit one. Okay. There you go. Wasn't even that difficult to move. Okay, let's see if we get more people. Hello everyone who's new here to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. If you are enjoying it, hey, hit that like. You know, I appreciate it. It means something to me. Subscribe and maybe even hit that notification bell so you see when else I'm on live when doing these kind of outreaches. And yeah, we're trying to get people, we're doing a social experiment where we're trying to get people to think a little bit about their choices. And you know, maybe we'll get them to rethink some of their choices. Maybe we'll get them, as we got this young kid today, who I really appreciated his open-mindedness, to see a slightly different perspective, to be morally consistent, you know, with their own values, because that's kind of what we want. So if you feel like you enjoy conversations like that, stick around, subscribe. And hey, even if you're not vegan, that's okay. You know, nobody's perfect. I would like you to become vegan eventually, but nobody's forcing you. Maybe you would want to hear more conversations. Maybe you're not convinced about everything. You know, just stick around. Subscribe if you can't stick around. Maybe you would love to hear some of the conversations. Maybe you love to hear some of the perspective, you know. At the end of the day, you know, I feel like understanding different perspectives of the world, of different situations only stands to help you be a better person. You can only stand to gain benefit from it by seeing different perspectives and by understanding different perspectives. So why not, right? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And you get to choose. That's the reality. Nobody's forcing you into any choice, okay? Remove my backpack. But sadly, I don't know. It's become pretty cold, and I think my socks have lost their battery. Yeah, for everybody who's new here, I'm wearing heated socks because it's pretty cold outside, and they have a battery, and they're no longer heating up. So I'm assuming that the battery has run out. Yeah, what did I hear here? Only weak people hide behind excuses. Not only weak people, Verdant, but yeah, generally, you know, there is there is a fear or some element of an emotion that we don't understand and we don't want to explore when we don't want to understand the truth or what is it that generates us, or we start generating excuses for something that in reality maybe we already know that it's wrong. Maybe you already know we shouldn't be doing it, but we do it because, you know, that's how we've been taught. Maybe if change seems hard. Maybe we're all a bit overwhelmed by life. Whatever it is, you know, we do have still a moral duty to not be exploiting innocent animals. That's the reality. Everyone in my family has diabetes and high blood pressure. I'm the only one in my family that has a clean bill of health, says Linda. Yeah, exactly. Heavy Hands 2293 says gay. Thank you. I take it as a compliment. I am not. I'm at best bi, but hey, nothing wrong with being gay or bi or whatever, you know. That's the beauty of sexuality. It's a spectrum. We can all be on that spectrum. We can all fit in, you know. That's the beauty of it. Let's see. And by the way, chat, while while we're sitting here in the cold, waiting for somebody to come and have a conversation with us. If you want to shoot some questions at me, here I am. I will gladly answer some of your questions. Watch a nature program and then tell me natural death is more humane. I don't think that it matters, does it? I don't think anybody cares. That doesn't let's say I will die of cancer, right? And obviously, doing chemotherapy is one of the worst things you can do in your life, right? Let's say if I die of cancer, I die of chemotherapy, and I know, well, it doesn't even matter that I'm not yet there, right? I'm just at a stage where I know that at some point in my life that's going to happen to me. Does that morally justify for somebody to come and put a bullet through my head and then eat my flesh because they say, hey, you are going to die a horrible death anyway? Does that morally justify it? It doesn't, right? Not to mention, of course, because it's not about the death. Veganism it's about the exploitation. It's about the fact that we use these animals for our own needs. It's an anti-slavery movement. So if you are against slavery, you should be vegan. There's no way around it. Otherwise, you're just enslaving a different group of individuals who you consider less than your own group. At first, it was white people thinking black people are inferior. Now it's old people thinking animals are inferior, which they're not. So enslaving them would be wrong just because you think they're inferior. It's also kind of dark, and I'm not sure how well you guys can see me. You want to try a social experiment? Chip, is your sign lit enough to see it from a distance? I think on camera you can't really see it very well. And I'm not sure if from a distance, but it does have this strong yellow. And people can usually see it even if they're a bit further away. And it does look like something is happening. So I think some people are like, huh, what's going on there? Let's check it out. Like this last kid we talked to was on the bike and he just came and stopped by. He passed by, he saw me and he was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to talk to you. So there you go. That was very interesting to me, to the person to pass by and just come back. Oh, Mike says, keep making those vegan and public outreach gains, Labby Boy. Labby Boy. I completely forgot about that, the Labby Boy nickname. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Hello from Michigan to all my fellow non-animal eaters. Lots of love. Linda, awesome to hear. How is it like in Michigan to be vegan? Is it difficult? Do you get a lot of options? Cows don't need the grain being grown. They could feed on wild grass and be used to maintain fields. Farming practices are what needs to change. Well, no, because again, even if you feed cows grass, you still have to kill them at a very young age. So how is that in any sense fair? Well, if you're saying, well, no, we just kill them when they're old. Yeah, sure, because we would have enough grass to feed a cow for 20 years and then eat them. Like, that's totally unrealistic. And all of this, by the way, what I've been saying right now is I've been pondering to your view of animals as resources, because the reality is that all animals are just individuals and they don't deserve to be treated as resources. Forcing them into slaughterhouses, taking their life away, using them however you please, that's just not something that is fair to do towards anybody, any innocent sentient being, any innocent sentient thinking being. Any way how you want to describe it. They have a subjective experience. They don't deserve your enslavement, your usage of them, just because you fancy their flesh, just because, you know what, you were born to eat their flesh. Doesn't matter. You're an adult, you can do better. And if you're not an adult, be an adult and do better. But vegans can't deny it's still destructive for the environment and ecosystems for human needs. What is being vegan? No, it's not. Actually, the most of the environmental studies worldwide, including the IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, who is formed out of the biggest and most climate change scientists in the world, say that a plant-based diet is better for all markers of environment than an animal-based diet or a vegetarian diet, because a lot of the times we tend to forget that these animals, again, have to be fed, have to be taken care of. They have to have a lot. Like if you say that they're only fed grass, they still need a lot of space, a lot of grass, and in order for that, you have to take down trees, you have to make room. Like literally, you guys want to try a social experiment? Like literally, the Amazonian rainforests are being deforested to make room for cattle ranching, for cattle farms. So yes, that is true. And either way, I'll just put it to from your perspective, okay? Let's say you think that somehow the farming practices need to improve, right? That the farming practices as they are now, they're not okay. That it is wrong what we do to them in all farming practices. Well, then you should already be vegan. You should already be plant-based at least, because not vegan, right? Because vegan means just rejecting all of the exploitation. But you should already be at least plant-based, where you're not consuming any animal products, because any animal product that you will buy will use the farming practices that you claim to oppose. So then, how does that work? I oppose this, but then I pay for it? I don't think that works. That's from the start a contradiction. It's very difficult in Michigan. You can't even find a decent fruit plate anywhere. Jesus, it's meat and potato kind of culture. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Linda. That sounds awful. I don't mean to be a dick, but that kind of sounds awful. Like, I mean, here in Amsterdam, it's full of options most of the time, so... Yeah, that's it. You guys want to try a social experiment?
Yes.
Are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Oh yeah. Hi YouTube channel.
What's your name?
Salina.
Salina, nice to meet you. I'm Chip. What's your name?
Novella.
Noella.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
So,
to meet
do you girls have a pet or an animal companion or a friend that you're fond of?
A what? A pet?
Yeah, or
Oh, I had a pet, but not anymore.
not anymore. Okay. Okay. Can you tell me something about them?
It was a goldfish.
It was a goldfish.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you know anything? Can you tell me anything about
Maar
them?
jij hebt toch een kat of zo? Jawel toch?
You have a cat?
She has a cat. I
Yeah.
think it's more nice
Yeah.
to talk to her. You need to be on
It's okay.
screen.
Okay. Well,
I don't.
let me just ask you this. Okay.
Okay.
It says animal abuse should be legal. Do you agree?
Do you agree?
We'll establish my position after we establish yours.
I don't agree. Why should it be legal?
Why not?
Because it's not okay to abuse animals?
Can I ask why? Is there any reason why it's wrong to abuse animals?
Because I don't think you can ever have like a valid reason to abuse an animal.
Let's say you get some benefit from it. Like every day, I take a dog, I hang them by their foot, and I punch them to death.
Mhm.
And I build muscle that way. That's a form of benefit.
You can build muscle in other ways.
You can use a different type of punching. bag,
Yeah,
right?
like
Okay.
a punching bag or something.
Okay, so it's wrong to abuse animals.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's a living thing,
Okay.
just like us.
It's wrong to abuse cats and dogs? What about cows, chickens, pigs?
Oh, now you're talking about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is
Interesting.
it wrong to abuse them?
Interesting. No, actually not.
No, it's not wrong to abuse them?
It's not. It's like, that's very difficult.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think you should abuse them like in a way that they feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think putting a knife to their throat, they're not gonna feel it?
They are gonna feel it. Yes.
Okay. Do you think forcefully impregnating them, do they feel it?
People don't hate me, please. Don't.
Nobody hates you. Dude, but don't worry. Like everybody, a lot of the people that I talk to don't really see don't really realize that the farm animals are just
Or also
like our cats, like
Yeah,
our pets.
Yeah,
You know,
I
that's-
didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like I did, but not. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that's a reality. They're nothing more than just different animals that look different, and for some reason we say, hey, we get to kill them, we get to do whatever we want to them as
Oh,
long as we
yeah.
get some benefit from it, right? So in that sense, when I said that I hang a dog by their leg and I punch them to death every day, I get benefit from it. But like, if I were to kill that dog and eat their flesh, it would be the same thing. I always
yeah.
have an alternative, right? So then me choosing to do one form of abuse or another is wrong regardless, right?
Yeah. So we should all be vegan.
Exactly. We should all be vegan.
Are you vegan?
I am vegan.
You
Yes.
are vegan.
What do you think being vegan is?
It's just living off of things that doesn't like involve animals, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a consequence of being vegan. The reality is being vegan means we reject the idea that animals
Yeah.
are here for us to exploit. We say animals, they're individuals, they deserve body autonomy, we don't need to exploit them, slaughter them, whatever we want to them, because we can always have alternatives, right? We always have
And do you
alternatives.
think it's making a change?
I think there's people who make change. Like today, I was surprised that most of the people I talked to wanted to make a change. But there's days and days for when I talk to, but you can definitely see a trend that's going up, right? Like more people are waking up to the fact that it's horrible what we do to them. More people are realizing that they don't necessarily want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, do you want to be part of this violence towards them, this abuse towards them, or do you want to
Interesting.
stop?
Mom and my sister are vegan too.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
At the same reason as
Why are you not vegan?
I was.
You
but,
were.
I don't know. It's. Hoe zeg ik dat? Gewoon, het is moeilijk.
It's hard.
It's hard.
difficult.
If you're eating outside.
You have so many options here in Amsterdam. What do you mean it's hard?
In the city,
I think it's more easy to like find vegetarian stuff than
Yeah,
like
I
vegan.
agree. I agree.
Because
There's-
it's harder to like find vegan stuff than vegetarian.
But do you know, by the way, why being vegan means we don't use any dairy products, for example? Because a lot of people think that nothing happens to dairy cows, right? They just get milk. What do you think about that?
I don't know how it goes, so that's the same thing.
Okay.
I think the same, but I
So
think
let me. I just want you to, at least if you walk away, to know something new
Yeah.
about this. So why do cows produce milk?
I don't know. I actually
Oh, okay,
don't
interesting,
know.
perfect. I love your honesty. I appreciate that. Okay, so cows produce milk because they're mammals. They're just like dogs, like cats, like us, like humans. They produce milk when they're pregnant, when they had babies. So farmers, they forcefully impregnate them. The procedure goes like somebody putting their hand in their anus, hold their cervix, and inject bull semen in their vagina.
Oh no, serious?
Yeah, that's.
I know that.
I
Oh,
didn't
you-
know. I
you
didn't
know
know.
that,
I
okay.
didn't know.
After 9 months, when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
They produce milk.
Well, the first thing that happens is they would normally drink their mother's milk. So farmers, they separate them from their mothers because they don't want them to drink the milk because they want to sell the milk, right? So that's already fucked up. Like imagine somebody taking the baby away from, and you become a mother, and somebody taking the baby away from you.
That's
Or
the
you-
worst thing you can do.
Exactly. You being separated from your mother at birth just because you were born, your mother is supposed to produce the milk instead of whatever. It's weird. And if they're born male, they don't produce milk. So what do you think happens to them?
They slaughter them.
Exactly. And if they're female, year-over-year forceful impregnation, just like their mothers, for 6 to 8 years, after which the farmer can no longer forcefully impregnate them with ease and then get killed. And they can live up to 25 years.
I didn't know.
So even a quarter of their life, yeah.
I didn't know. But now you're saying it makes sense that
It
that's
does.
like the way it goes.
Yeah, of course there's variations of it, right? Like there's farms where they don't do this procedure where they inject bull semen. Most of them do, but there's farms where they say, oh, well, no, we let the bull ride on the cow. Whatever. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, they're still taking their babies away from them. They're still killing their babies. They're still using. That's the thing about it, right? When we see animals as resources, we can justify doing whatever we want to them to get what we want from them, right?
Mm.
So do you think it's fair to see animals as resources?
now that you're saying this, I don't think so.
Okay, I appreciate
not
that.
fair.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. It's not. Because if we were in their shoes, we wouldn't want somebody to treat us that way, right?
Mm-hmm. Facts, yeah.
Exactly. So, hearing this information, do you ever see yourself going vegan?
Vegan is like a big step for me, but I think I'm going towards the vegetarian, and maybe I'm going like from there to the vegan. But I'm definitely like going to search things up and like learn a bit more about
That's perfect
like,
that you want to learn more about
animals
it.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, just keep in mind that while you're learning, while you're buying animal products, you are still supporting this, what we
Yeah.
talked about. You are still paying for one innocent animal to
Yeah.
go into a slaughterhouse. And if you don't want that to happen, maybe until you make a decision, it's right for you to abstain from animal
Yeah.
products and then make a decision, right? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And here comes the hard question.
Oh.
This is the hard question.
Yeah, tell me, yes.
How many more animals should be exploited for you before you change?
Oh my.
That's a hard question, yeah.
I'm vegan, guys. I'm vegan. I'm vegan right now. I'm gonna stop.
I appreciate you saying that. I just I want you to think about this because again, every time you make a choice, we do
Like
we
how
do force
like
this.
how much milk do I have to drink that one cow is exploited? Like you're saying.
If
Do
you
you
just
know?
buy once, that doesn't matter.
Really?
Only
Okay.
once because
If you need one, then
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you need the cow. Oh,
create
you also
demand.
need the
yeah,
cow. Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
It's not like we a lot of the time. Let's say a cow produces a ton of milk. I don't think they produce that much, but let's say they do produce that. It doesn't mean that that ton of milk is whenever you buy it from the same cow. Or
Yeah,
so, you
okay.
see, we just continuously,
Yeah. Okay.
and then the demand doesn't even matter, right? Because they usually like farmers they justify based on demand, right? So if you stop buying it, maybe it won't make a difference at first, but after a month or two, it will
Eventually,
make a
yeah.
difference, right? And it will make a difference to at least a couple of individuals. Like one person going vegan can save up to 200 animals per year, which is a lot of animals. If you
That
think
was my
about it.
question a little
Yeah.
bit. Now I know. Okay.
200 animals per year is a lot. Like even if it's just 1, 2, or 3, it's their whole life.
Interesting.
And for you, it's just what? It's a thing. It's a meal for you that you forget about, right?
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Let me give you some cards. What's
Yeah.
your name?
Salina.
Salina. Nice to meet you, Salina. And
What's
you?
your
Noella.
Is this
Noella.
Instagram?
Yeah, you already told me. It's my YouTube channel.
Oh, your YouTube.
Yeah. My name is Chip. Let me give you a card. I'll give you also a card. There's one thing there called Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. All of it is free. If you want to stop participating in this, and I hope you do. And there's one very cool thing to watch. If you scan this code or go on this website and type in this code, you're Dutch, I heard, so you might need to switch it to English and watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. It's a really good speech. It's just
And this
teaching-
is with this.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Or by scanning this QR code,
And
whatever. feels-
don'twatch.org.
You can also watch that. You
Okay.
Like, don't watch is like a 10-minute video. Kind of shows the practices of animal agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Thanks.
watch that. It says don't watch it, but it says don't
I'm
watch
gonna
it
wa-
because a lot of people are
because
afraid
people-
to watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you
watch
very
that
much.
and make a
Thank you. You're doing
decision.
good
Don't wait
things.
for it. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much. Have a good day and
a nice day.
a nice
Thank
vegan
you.
life. Okay. No more
Bye.
animals
No
exploited.
more animals. Bye.
Bye. There you go, everybody. A couple of open-minded girls. It's impressive. Huh? We're here, and the people that stop are open-minded. Yeah, it's super nice to see. I'm thinking I want to go closer to that area because it's a bit dark, and I think you barely can see me. But if I get closer to there, there's a lot of music, and you won't be able to hear me. So let's see. I'll just do this one thing where I do at the end of the streams. And by the way, if you're new here, please subscribe. What are you doing? Subscribe. You're enjoying these conversations. You see people, open-minded people. It's nice to see. And what we're gonna do now at the end is we're gonna turn the sign around. Normally it says I'm doing a social experiment, but right now it will say animal abuse should be legal. So we're just turning around. Let's see how people react. And yeah, maybe we get some reactions from people. But you know what? I could also, let's see if it's better if I put it. Is it better like this? We switched around. We're changing the view a little bit. Okay. It says animal abuse should be legal. Do you agree with animal abuse being legal?
What do you want? I think also that I respect animals.
You respect animals?
Palestine.
Can you eat and respect animals at the same time?
Because he's a dog. His mother.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, everyone who is here. We're challenging people's beliefs. Do you agree with the sign? Do you guys agree with the sign that says animal abuse should be legal? They definitely eat animals, hypocrites. Yeah, because they said they respect animals, huh? I'm trying to see a place where there's a little bit more light, because I didn't think that when it gets so dark it will be difficult to watch. I expected the light to be a bit stronger on the streets, but I guess it's not so strong here. Do you guys agree with the sign? It says animal abuse should be legal. Hey, the 40-year-old vegan is here. Mr. Awesome David. I think also that the camera on my phone is not that good now. Do you guys agree with the sign? It says animal abuse should be legal. It says animal abuse should be legal. Do you agree? Why not? You're what?
I'm animalist. I'm vegan.
You're vegan?
Yeah.
Oh, high five. Hell yeah, I'm also vegan. Nice. Do you speak up for animals?
Speak up for animals?
Yeah, like do you do activism?
Yeah.
Oh, you also do activism, like with a group or something? Or?
I'm in a research group
Oh,
in
interesting.
Spain.
Interesting. So why are you vegan, can I ask?
Well, because I know all the industry,
Oh, okay.
because I studied food industry, and yeah,
Are you vegan? No. What? So you agree with animal abuse to be legal?
No.
Well, your actions do.
Yeah. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, you're a hypocrite, exactly. Don't you think you have a moral obligation to change your actions to suit your own moral standards?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
I don't eat that much meat, but
Only
I don't
some
know.
animals are abused.
No. Like maybe when I go out, if there's something very special that it's not the same without meat, I'll eat it because I don't know. Like you only live once, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
You only live once. So do those animals. They also only live once, huh? And we take that whole life for what, 10 minutes of food? Do you think that's fair?
No.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything holding you back from being vegan?
Laziness, I guess. Yeah. I'm not against killing animals for food though.
Are you against exploiting them?
Like in a bad way, yes. Like if they are able to live decently, you know.
Is there a good way of exploiting them?
I don't know. I don't know that much to have an answer to
Then
that.
don't you think you have a moral obligation to at least look into it before you make a choice? Like if you were in a position where people were exploiting you and your family, don't you think that me, who is paying for your exploitation, has a moral obligation to not be ignorant or apathetic towards your situation, but rather look into it and perhaps act?
My choice is not to eat meat in my everyday life, and just if I want to treat myself, that's like my.
Yeah, but if I want to treat myself and kill you to eat you, would that be fair to you?
Yeah. I
Would
don't
be
know.
fair to you? Really? I'm not gonna pass you too much. Just like don't 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 give money to the worst things that we do to animals. I don't think. Would you abuse cats or dogs?
No.
So then cows, chickens, pigs are fair game for some reason. Imagine being born a cow and somebody telling you you're not born the right species. You should have been born a dog. Then you would have not been killed for your food or exploited, huh?
No.
Yeah. Don't be that person, okay? What's your name?
It's yeah.
Chip. Nice to meet you. Please look into it. You can share some resources with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't. It's only for the animals. I mean, it may seem like I'm scolding you, but the reality is these animals go through some of the worst things imaginable. Like things that even the lightest thing that we do to them is still horrible to any human if we did them. Like rape. Rape is constant in animal agriculture. And we can't support it. We can't say rape is okay as long as we benefit from it, can we?
No.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I appreciate you having this conversation with me. Have a good one. Sorry, everybody. I was off camera a little bit having these conversations. That person wasn't very receptive to it. One of her friend was vegan, and she wasn't vegan. And I was asking her why she isn't vegan. But let's see. Do you agree with the sign? It says animal abuse should be legal. Yeah. It was, we had a couple of good conversations. Let's see if we can get one more. I'm just gonna turn it around. Maybe we get somebody to actually have a conversation with us. This sign of triggering people doesn't, unless I see somebody with a pet, then I turn it around. Otherwise, let's maybe get one final conversation before we go. Oh, Vegan Postmortem is here. Hey, Vegan Postmortem, nice to see you here. I appreciate you being here. By the way, if you guys don't know, Vegan Postmortem has an awesome YouTube channel. They do awesome things. Awesome videos. That, honestly, that video, what was it? Cutting the balls? Was it cutting the balls? Was it? Yeah, that somebody has a job cutting balls. That was such a good video. I really loved the title. I loved how you phrased it at the beginning. It was so good. Loved it. It's cold. But everyone, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. You know, sitting in the cold feels a little bit better when I have this amazing group of people watching me and supporting me and being like, yeah, go, you do it, bro. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you moderating. I especially appreciate moderating. I appreciate all the people who have donated. I'm very grateful for this whole vegan community and everybody who's not vegan. Maybe, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in such a nice community, but I'll tell you, the vegan community is a hell of a nice one. Sure, there's disagreements here, we fight and stuff, but we agree on so many things, and we do such nice things together, and we're so nice to each other. We respect each other. That I don't know, and we support each other. It's nice. It's a nice community. So if you ever feel like you're missing a community, be part of veganism.
Experiment?
Yeah. Do you want to try it?
Yes.
Okay, love it. What's your name? Are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay, nice. What's your name?
Vanessa.
Vanessa, nice to meet you, Vanessa.
Nice to meet you.
I see you have a LGBT flag.
Yes.
Nice. Is that a social cause that you're passionate about?
Yes, as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any other social cause that you're passionate about?
Well, my social causes are being more connected to each other. So if I see a sign, then I would talk.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Okay. So I'll ask you, what's your take on oppression?
I think English is not my first language, so I have to
It's okay.
find the right words. I think we need to get rid of it.
We need to get rid of it. Exactly.
Yes.
Because it's wrong.
Yes, it's wrong.
Do
Yeah.
you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No, of course not.
Does
No.
that mean that the powerful have the obligation to not oppress the powerless?
Yes,
Okay.
and they have the obligation to change it.
Okay, nice. And what if the powerful get benefit from oppressing? Does that make oppression right?
No, but I think that's a problem.
That's a problem, yes. And what if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed? Does that make oppression right?
No, not as well.
No, okay. And the final question, do you think when we're forcing animals into slaughterhouses, the animals that we kill for food, for clothing, do you think we're oppressing them
Yes, as well.
as well?
Yes.
Right. Do you consume any animal products?
Yes, I do.
Do you
Yes.
think it's possible to maintain your status of being against oppression while simultaneously supporting it by buying animal products?
Yes,
Yes?
yes, I do both.
Is there no
So-
contradiction there?
No, because I don't think there are contradictions. It's not one right or one wrong. I think we have to change in the middle. So I don't consume as much as I did, but I do consume.
So you're still oppressing some animals, not as much as you used to, but less.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
but then you're still oppression. You're
yes,
still
and I
oppressing it.
know it.
Yeah.
And I choose to do it less than I do,
Yeah.
that I did before.
Then why not choose to stop then? Why not choose to never oppress any animal again?
Yeah, because I like meat.
You like meat.
Yeah.
But do you think that, because bringing it back to the oppressor, do you think the oppressor should have, if as I said, if they get some form of benefit, it still doesn't make it right?
No.
Do you think we should care more about what the oppressor wants or about the victim in scenarios like this? Like, should we care about that you like meat, or should we care about the fact that there's animals victims?
Well, I think it's both, because
Both.
there will there are it's like weegschaal. How do you, it's a balance, and I think we eat too much, and I think we eat the meat that we eat. I buy it. I know where to buy it because I don't buy my meat in the supermarket.
But let me put it this way: from your perspective, it seems like balance. But do you think, from the perspective of an animal who gets killed
Yeah,
at,
it's not a ba-
10% of their life, do you think that's balance
Yeah.
to them?
No, it's not a balance.
No.
No.
Okay. So then it's not really balance in the system. It's just balance from our perspective because
Yes.
we choose to see it like balance because
Yes.
it's easy for us to see it that way.
Yes,
But when
true.
we have readily available options, don't you think we have an obligation to stop?
Yeah, could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
Do you think we have readily available options? You see where I'm going
yes,
with this?
yes, of course. But and I think that I have an obligation, and I choose to do some different to do it different than I did. So I already changed something, and it's not not for all the animals.
Let me put it in a different perspective, right? LGBTQ people, right? Don't know if you know about the issues that they go through. I know that there's gay people and or trans people especially who get beaten up on the streets, right?
Yeah, but they
And
don't die.
They don't die. But let's say I'm a person, I'm not, but let's say that I would be a person who beats up trans people for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And I beat the trans person every day. At some point I say, you know what, I only beat a trans person per week.
Yeah.
It's obviously less worse, but it's still bad, isn't it? I'm still on that same
Yeah, but
status.
that's more in it is behavior.
Yeah, it is behavior, right?
yeah.
So it's still, what I'm doing is still something, even if I do it less, it's still something that I shouldn't be doing at all.
Yeah, but
It's still an
I'm not
injustice.
against killing animals,
But
but I'm not I'm not pro. How do you say it? The big.
like factory farms.
Yes.
But what about exploitation? Are you against exploitation of animals?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you be surprised to find out that exploitation of animals happens in small farms, large farms,
Yes.
local
also,
farms?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then, literally, when you're buying an animal product, you're supporting animal exploitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, and I know it, and I think it's still. It's the way that we do it, and I don't think it's really right, but it's also not really wrong.
Do you think that if we wouldn't give them money to do it, would they still do it?
Who?
If we wouldn't give farmers money to kill animals, to exploit animals, would they still do it?
Yes.
Do you think that they would do it forever, or I'm just literally asking? Do you think don't they do it for money?
They also do it for money.
So if we wouldn't give them money, they would stop, right?
Yeah, but I think it's also it's not, for me, it's not wrong to use animal or animal products, but it's, for me, what is wrong is that we spill so many lives, that we just throw so many meat away, that we don't consume it. We kill it and we don't consume it.
So it's not wrong to use animals. Is it wrong to use humans?
Yeah. Yes.
So what is the difference between an animal and well, we're also animals. So what exactly is that difference that says it's okay to use one but not the other, to enslave one but not the other?
Yeah, because for me there's a difference between animals and humans.
What is that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because we've been taught. I feel like we've been taught that there is a difference. We've been taught that we're different, but you and I are also different, right? And I could say as a man that every person who's a man, I'm part of this group called man, deserves more than women. Would that be fair?
No.
Women deserve to be used by men. Would that be fair for me
No,
to
as
say?
well.
No, because just because you're part of a different group doesn't mean that you deserve less
No.
rights, right? So we're all animals at the end, but we're humans. We're one
Yeah.
species, and these animals somehow we
And
think
we could
deserve
change
less.
it.
And we
Yeah.
can change it,
Yeah.
exactly, right? But we also need to change this mentality where we see them as resources for us, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, using them or killing them is wrong, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think so. So the only thing that matters.
From this perspective, I'm totally agreeing with you.
Yeah, because what matters to us, right, is not how a person looks like, how a person, I don't know what color their skin is or what they're born as. What matters is that we know that they have a subjective experience of their life.
Yeah.
They have that they're subject of their own universe, that they experience emotions, that they have all this life, and animals have that. All of that.
I
Animals
agree.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, if it's wrong to do that to humans because of it, it should be wrong to do that to animals also because of it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So my final question, my difficult one: how many more animals do you want to be exploited for you before you change?
Well, I don't know how much, but I will exploit animals until I die, I think.
Really, you don't.
Yeah.
You never want to stop.
Yes, but now I do less. I cannot stop, I think. I will not
everybody
stop.
can
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, but I will not stop.
You don't
Yeah.
want to stop
I don't want to stop. No.
because your pleasure is worth more than their life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm owning it that I'm also guilty of oppressing.
So if
Yeah.
a man were to say that about you, that my pleasure is worth more than your life, they can justify doing whatever they want because I understand that legally they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
But if they somehow find a legal loophole to do so, you understand? I'm just trying to show
Yeah,
you
I'm-
what you're advocating for, what you're saying is okay to do, and how you want to live your life. Are you sure you want to live your life suggesting that this is okay and that this is what you want
No,
to do?
it's not okay, but I know it's not okay. Yeah.
But you can change.
Yes, and I am changing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can change in a way that you never do this, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I will be capable of it.
Is it just
No.
like is it like you don't know how to do it, or what is it?
I think there are a lot of things I am already changing, so it will be too much, I think, to change my behavior, to change my work, to change the way of life, the way I want to help people to change their life. So
And I understand that in some situations change can seem that way, but in this particular situation, the reality is when we choose to eat something, we already make a choice, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing us into one choice
No,
or the other.
no.
So change for us just means making a different choice.
Yeah.
Maybe eating the same thing, but a plant-based version of it,
Yeah.
where then
We
no
already
animal gets
do it.
exploited. Yeah.
Yes.
So then when we make that choice where an animal does get exploited for us, we
I
could
do
have
not
always
think
chosen
I
differently.
will eat a cow a year.
Yeah. You will eat a cow a year?
Yeah.
But to that one cow, it will
Yeah.
be very bad for them.
Yes.
won't it?
Yeah. It will die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their mother got raped one time, so that
Yeah.
you can eat that one cow per year. Huh?
And you're really good in going to the guilt feeling. But
I'm
yes,
sorry, I
you
don't
know.
need to make you feel good. I'm just that the reality is these industries, they hide this shit from us. They do.
Yeah, but I know. Yes. And I'm aware of it, and that makes it even worse.
Yeah, because apathy is not something we should be proud of, is it?
Who?
Apathy.
Apathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you more. It feels to me like you're an empathetic person. You understand the perspective,
Yeah.
but somehow you don't want to change it. I don't understand why that is, but I would say, I'll just, urge you to not dismiss what we're discussing so far, because
no. But I already did not dismiss it
Yeah.
in front. But I'm not there yet to not eat meat or to not use animal products. And I don't know if I will be capable of to reach it. But
sometimes in life, the right thing to do is the hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, It
No.
doesn't mean that just because it's hard, we shouldn't be doing it.
no, that's the way I live my life.
Except for this
Yeah?
situation.
No, I'm working on it and I'm doing it from my perspective, and it's not as perfect as you want me to be.
It's not about being perfect,
No,
right?
yeah, but doing the right thing and a hard thing. There are a lot of hard things that need attention.
I agree.
Yeah, so we can have it on this argument and
Yeah.
or this subject, and that's good to think about it and be aware. And there are a lot of other subjects as well.
Yeah, but
You
if for all these other subjects, like let's say racism, Palestine and Israel conflict, Ukraine and Russia conflict,
Yeah.
right? If you were to actively support these by giving money to people to die, for people
Yeah.
to be racist,
I will choose
then
not to do
you would
it.
choose not
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
it. Yet
yeah.
in this context where animals,
Yeah,
you
I
choose to
see,
give
yeah.
money, you choose to do
Yeah,
it.
I choose to do it.
You
yeah.
see, and you're saying it's hard. It's like all of these are just justifications.
You were saying it's hard. I was not saying it's hard.
Sorry, okay. You're saying it, you probably
Yeah,
can't do it. That's
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
But I think those are just justifications. The reality is, I think you can do it because you live in the Netherlands. It's so
Yeah.
easy here to
Yeah.
choose plant-based options always. We just gotta acknowledge that these animals, they deserve at least body autonomy. And that means us not
Yeah.
killing them, of course,
Yeah.
or forcing our will onto them.
Yeah, and I agree.
And you agree.
Yeah.
You say you agree,
Yeah,
but
I
your
agree, and
actions
yes,
don't,
and I'm still
right?
not doing it.
Yeah, it's
so
lip
in
service.
my mind, it's a different choice than on another level.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's a bit of a cognitive dissonance, isn't
Yes.
it? Do you know what
yes,
that is?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And
That's
it's,
my work.
What would you call a person that says one thing but does another?
Contradict.
It's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Yes, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the definition.
yes.
It's when you say I stand up for something, but then you go around and do the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. There and that's also how the world is.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know we can seem like we can swipe it under the rug and say everybody does it. That's how the world is. But that doesn't absolve us of the responsibility we have. Just only in our mind it seems like we have less responsibility,
Yeah.
but we still have just as much responsibility for the actions that we choose to make.
Yeah.
For the actions that we
Yes.
choose to take.
Yes, and you're right.
Right.
And I'm not going to change it. But
Choose
thank
to
you
do
very
whatever
much.
you want to do. I hope you get to. I'll just do a fist bump because I just hope you get to see that these animals deserve to live just as much as you do,
Yeah.
and just as much as any other cause that you support. It's unfair to treat them differently just because they are different in a way that even you can't agree. Like you literally agree with everything, but your
And I
actions say
still
the
do something
otherwise.
different.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So, but thank you for the reminder.
yeah. Have a good one. Ali says, damn. Yeah, don't participate in it. Exactly. At some point, I felt like I wanted to push her a little bit more, but then I just realized that, you know what? No. I don't think this person was a bad person. I think cognitive dissonance did set in at some point. I think she does have something she's going through. You guys haven't noticed, but she did have, at the beginning of a conversation, she was tearing up a little bit. So maybe the idea of oppression was kind of reminding her of something. So, I don't want her to leave with a shitty feeling or something. I think she already feels guilty about everything. I think I wasn't compromising at all. It's pretty clear. Was I compromising, Chad? Please tell me. Was I compromising? Chad, you did everything perfect, but she was too selfish. Yeah, I think she will think. I think she will actually think about it. I think she just refused to show that face, and that's the reality. A lot of the times people refuse to see it, but they still need to hear it, right? She was so hardly aware, and I'm absolutely perplexed. Apathy is one of the worst things you can see. Like, it's one of the worst things you can fight. It's yeah, there's nothing you can do. Very nice, but also saying that has to be said was good. Yeah, good job, Chip. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how to deal with apathy. So if you guys have any suggestions about how to deal with apathy, I would greatly appreciate it, because I feel like when somebody's apathetic, no matter what you say, it's like just forcing them to build more and more of this wall where they're like, yeah, I don't care. It is what it is, but yeah, let's hope she thinks about it. But I heard you speak to Kai, Chip. Yes, I did speak to Kai. Do you know Kai, Spets? He's awesome. Yeah, he was really cool. I was when I spoke to Kai last night. I had a meeting for everybody to put things into perspective. I work for an organization called We the Free. They help animal rights activists. They help people around the world become animal rights activists. They create groups, they create communities, they create societies. It's a very nice place. And I work as a software engineer for them. And last night we had a gathering, and Kai is one of the people there who was in the gathering, and I was so shy towards those people. I don't know what happened. I was just shy and nervous, and sometimes that happens, it happens to all of us. But yeah, Edu says maybe footage can help. Oh my God, that's such a good point. Maybe I should have brought up. I have Alexandra's folder here. Maybe I should have opened that. You're right. You're absolutely right. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. If you're not subscribed and you have enjoyed this, please subscribe, like this video, and yeah, hit that notification bell. I'm gonna do this next week. I think I'm gonna do this more often, because the weather is gonna be better than today. Well, it's still gonna be cold as fuck, but the weather is not. It's not gonna rain. That's literally the baseline. Oh, hey, you guys want to try this? Okay, where you guys from? You okay being live on my YouTube channel? Okay. Okay, love it. Okay, so I'll just.
What is your...
No,
Sorry, did I accidentally hit you? I didn't mean to. Okay, so it says animal abuse should be legal.
No.
Why not?
Because animals have feelings too.
Okay. How would you define abuse?
Like to
Hit the dogs or the cats or no, just hit because
to make
you can
bad
tell.
things.
Yeah, I would say physical or emotional
No,
harm,
physical,
right?
physical.
Both, because you can
Yeah.
also psychologically harm
Yeah.
somebody, right? So it's wrong to abuse cats or dogs. What about cows, chickens, pigs? Should we abuse them?
No, we shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
Do you think that we are abusing cows, chickens, and pigs?
Yeah.
Do you think that you have some form of involvement in this abuse of cows, chickens, and pigs?
Yes, because we consume
everyone that consumes meat.
So you are supporting a form of abuse, right? You are supporting abuse of animals, right?
No, we are not supporting, but
When you buy an animal product, do you not give money? Is that not a form of support?
Yeah.
no. The only way supporting that is consuming that meat, no? Yes.
I'm not trying to catch you up on this one, right? I used to participate in it too, right? I want to just try to highlight maybe sometimes hypocrisy in our choices, because we say we're against animal abuse, but at the same time, we turn around and we pay for it, right? Without even thinking about it. Do you think that we can say that we're against animal abuse when we do that? Or no?
No, we can't.
No. So then do you think we have a responsibility to live up to our own standards and not support this and not pay for animal abuse?
No, I think it's difficult because it's
think
difficult also to be a vegan person.
Yeah, because in this society, everyone. I know that you don't
We
have
are
to,
used to
to make
eat
what
this,
everyone
yes.
makes, no, but
Yeah.
it's difficult to change the mind of all the society. But
Okay. It's difficult to change the mind of all the society. I completely agree with you, right? That if I could have a megaphone and speak to everybody, I think most people would not want to change. But that's why I'm speaking to each individual at the start at the time, right? That's why I'm speaking to you. Is it difficult for you to change?
Yeah. Yes.
What is it that is difficult for you to change?
I think it's difficult to change everything that you have been made all life, like eating meat.
It can seem difficult in a sense because as you said, we were born our whole life doing this, and it can seem like such a big change. But I think with the products that we have nowadays, right, is it that big of a change? You can get plant-based burgers. You can get any animal product that you used to get. You can get a plant-based version now, right?
It's also more
Yeah, but
expensive.
they're expensive.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay. How much more expensive are they?
Well, I don't know because I
No,
haven't looked
I'm
at
doing a work in university about that, and they are much expensive, and people don't buy because they are so expensive.
Okay. Would you
And
be
it's-
surprised to find out that studies show that it's actually cheaper to be vegan than not? There's 3 studies done in the Western world. That includes Western Europe, US, Canada, and Australia. And they all show that being vegan is actually cheaper.
Maybe being vegan is more cheaper, but change the products that you have always consumed, like hamburgers or ham. I don't know, and that products make them vegan. It's more expensive. Like it's more expensive and have a vegan hamburger than a normal one.
But
So-
I don't think it's a problem of the money.
Yeah.
If you told me that it's cheaper to consume vegan products, it doesn't matter to me. But
Exactly. Because if I tell you if there's this product that you can buy, but it abuses women. Like it's just it's a product that's a result of abusing women, like human women. Would you consider buying that product? Because it's cheaper.
Yeah, no.
No. Okay. But the animals somehow are different. No, right? No,
it
'cause
shouldn't be, but
it shouldn't be.
yeah.
It shouldn't be for everybody, I understand. But for you, is it?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
It's a
And
difficult
you
one.
mentioned
you're
veganism. That's
right.
okay. You mentioned
Like,
veganism.
the arguments are
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because that's
The
a reality.
theory-
It's okay. But you mentioned veganism. What do you think being vegan means?
Being vegan, don't consume meat products,
Okay.
and also for example, don't use bad gel that has been tasted in animals, that kind of things. Don't
Yeah.
support anything that is related with animal.
I love it. You're getting there. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that's a consequence of it, right? Being vegan means we reject animal exploitation. That means animals should not be used for us. We reject the idea that animals are here for us. Do you think animals are here for us?
No, they're not.
No, they're individuals who have their own preferences, who have their own lives to live, who they don't want to die, who especially they don't want to be forcefully impregnated, killed, or I don't know, raped, or whatever it is that they do, because they do a lot of that in animal agriculture, right? And just to put things into perspective, do you know what happens to dairy cows? To the cows that produce milk? Dairy cows, the cows that make milk for cheese, for milk.
No, we don't know what happened with them.
No. Do you know what has to happen for cows to produce milk?
They have to eat a lot.
They have to eat, but also like biologically,
Hormones
when do they produce milk? When do women produce milk?
When they are pregnant.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the same for cows because they're mammals. So they have to be pregnant to produce milk. Yeah, I also didn't know. So exactly. So farmers, they forcefully impregnate them. They don't wait for them to say, hey, I want to have a baby now. They literally force them to be pregnant. The procedure goes like somebody puts their hands in their anus, hold their cervix, and inject bull semen in their vagina. That's the very common practice because male bulls are usually killed, so there are not a lot of them, so it's easier and cheaper to buy semen than to have a bull. And after 9 months, when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
They kill them to make ternera.
So the first thing they do is they separate them from their mothers. They take them away because they would drink their mother's milk, right? That's what they know what to do when they're born. But the farmers have to sell that milk, so it's say, hey, I don't care. We give you something else. We sell the milk. And if they're born male, they don't produce any milk. So what happens to them?
They kill them.
They kill them, exactly. If they're born female, year over year, forceful impregnation, just like their mothers, for 6 to 8 years, after which they can't be impregnated with ease because they call them spent. They literally said they're spent. They've been used too much, and then they get killed at 6 or 8 years old, and they can live 24, 25 years. So less than a third or quarter of their life, something like that. Is that something you want to participate in?
No, of course we don't. Yeah.
No. But do you acknowledge that when you
But I
buy?
think that is different. For example, in a traditional village, I don't think they will do that.
They do. I come from Romania. My
Yes,
grandma
we also
did
have
that.
a village,
Yeah.
and we know in our village there are farms and
You don't see it because, of course, they don't do this in public. Hey, neighbor, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Just forcefully impregnated this cow. Of course, no. They do it in the backyard, and everybody. They don't call it forceful impregnation. They call it artificial insemination, so that it sounds better, but it is forceful. Some say we don't take away the babies. We let them drink a little bit, but they still take them away. Like everybody just kind of curbs the truth. But the reality is this way, that they do all this. If you think from their perspective, that's their reality that they live through. Do you feel like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no.
Do you feel like you want to participate in this? I ask again.
No.
No. Do you think that there is a way to not be vegan and still say that you don't want to be part of this?
It's hypocrite because I can say that, but then still consume meat and milk products and everything.
Exactly. You're right. You're right on the money with that one. Yeah, you'll be a hypocrite. So, do you want to be hypocrite?
No.
No. Okay. And I'll ask you my final question because I feel like how many more animals should be exploited for you before you make this change? I'll start with you. How many more animals?
How many more animals?
Exploited for you before you change.
¿Cuántos animales más tienen que estar matados para que
0.
0. Okay. How about you?
Yeah, 0.
no
0?
one? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The only way for that to happen is to go vegan, right? And I understand it can seem difficult. Like, I mean, I'm a stranger to you. What I urge you to do after this is don't just forget about this conversation. Look into it. Research. The first thing that you need to know is that your information is very important that you get and that you know what you're paying for. Because if you go out there and thinking that it's one thing, and these industries will sell you, they'll sell you a different reality just because if they told you what I told you, nobody will buy it, right? So look into it, decide, and don't sleep on it, because whenever you will buy the next animal product, you will be supporting an abuse of an animal, the exploitation. And if you were in their shoes, you would want somebody to stop and not say, right? Can I give you some cards to look into it?
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you. I only have. There you go.
Answer it, yeah.
You can. Okay, I'll give you 2 cards. Well, I'll give you 2 cards for that. I'll keep one just in case I need it. Give you one, and I'll give you one. You have their Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day for free. You just gotta want it. And there's don'twatch.org. If you want to give that a watch, you kind of see what the practices that are happening in animal agriculture to learn. It's a good starting point. Just please, if you don't want more animals to be exploited, vegan, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Oh,
much.
wait, are you from? Do you live here?
No.
Okay, let me give you also, before you go, I have this map of vegan places in Amsterdam, and these are vegan restaurants in Amsterdam. I strongly recommend vegan sushi bar. It's delicious. And if not, any other places so that you can easily get your meals.
Thank
okay?
you very much.
At least don't exploit animals while you're here. But also not in Spain. Come on, it's worse. Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Which is your channel?
Oh, my channel name, you have it there on the card. It's
Okay.
called Vegan Power Lab. That's my channel name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one. Benji says very good outreach. Thank you, Benji. Thank you everybody for being here. As I said, I think, 6:04. Fuck it. Let's take one more conversation. I'm not giving up. One more. Did you already subscribe to the channel? Asks Dirk. Hey everybody, answer to this channel for Dirk, the awesome Dirk here in this channel. Did you already subscribe to this? What are we doing here? We gotta subscribe, everybody. Come on. Don't just leave it like this. Come on, subscribe. Like, let's get those numbers up. I'm joking around, everybody. If you feel like you enjoy it, please subscribe to this. If you feel like you're getting something out of listening to this, please subscribe. You don't have to be vegan to subscribe. Hey, you guys want to try my social experiment?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Just ask you some questions, get you to think.
Okay.
Okay, you okay being live from my YouTube channel? Okay. Okay, I'll just turn this around on you. Where are you guys from, by the way?
So I come from the UK, and then these guys come from Germany.
Oh, lovely.
So-
Germany and UK. Okay. What brings you together all?
So
like here?
we're basically like unrelated cousins, and then
Friends.
that's our boyfriend. Yeah. And then-
Cousins and friends.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
we kind of just went on a little trip going around Amsterdam type of thing.
Okay, do you guys have any pets or I don't know, any
Except-
pets or companion animals that you're?
No, not at the moment. It's very hard because obviously you're renting as well. So
I don't necessarily mean here, but like also when you're where
yeah,
you live.
yeah,
Okay,
rent because obviously the renting, right?
fair enough. Then I'll just turn this around and you tell me what you think. It says animal abuse should be legal.
No.
No,
No.
that was a pretty
Straight
quick no.
up no.
Why not?
Why would you abuse an animal? So I'm thinking, if you're not gonna abuse a human being, why would you abuse an animal?
It's a pretty good. I don't know. Maybe you get some benefit. If you get benefit from it, is that okay? Can you abuse them?
What type of benefit comes from abuse?
So let's put it this way: if I take a dog,
Yeah.
I hang them by the leg,
Okay.
and I beat them to death every day,
What do you get out of
I
it?
build muscle because I
But
use
then
them
you
as
can
a
build
punching
muscle in
bag.
so many ways without hurting anyone.
We have an alternative. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, so it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong
Because
to.
I'm thinking, would you beat yourself so you can get something out of it? No.
Oh, okay.
What would you say about medicine? For example, you test a medicine on a cat. Would you say that's right, or is there an alternative you know about it?
Well, I personally have a view on this, and I think it's wrong. I don't think animal abuse is right. Also, I only do this as a reverse psychology experiment, right?
Can you give an alternative for that?
To testing on
Medicine,
animals.
I guess.
I mean, testing on humans.
Yeah.
That's right.
100%.
Consenting humans. You know, a lot of the testing, by the way, done on animals. I think like 95% of the testing
there
done on
was
animals.
testing a couple of years ago, and 6,000 children died at an age lower than 1 year.
You
Was
like,
it
for example,
Example, they
involuntary?
tested medicine at 10,000 pregnant women, and then 6,000 children died.
but was there consent?
Yes, from 10,000 women.
Yeah, there you go. So it is. I don't know what to tell you. When there's
Yeah.
consent, like if I consent to risking my life for something, then it's fair, right? So I would
I
say.
also come with an answer to that. For example, with animals, you don't have to test the medicine to a cat. There are different ways to test it. And there is a new method they're trying with insects, to be honest. They're implementing small amounts of medicine there. And insects also don't consent to it.
But there's
But that's
artificial
kind of-
organs. There's other stuff. Like we have so
Probably
many ways
also
of
others,
testing.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
let me put it this way: we wouldn't want to abuse cats and dogs because
No.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's-
What about cows, chickens, pigs?
I think no form of animal should be abused.
No sort of
It's kind
animals
of the
should be
same,
abused.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Do you think that when we buy animal products like cheese, milk, meat, do you think we're supporting a form of abuse for animals?
I guess it will depend on the way how you structure it. Because if we're talking nature and the way how everything is built, then you kind of think, well, you were kind of abusing it, right? But then if you're putting those animals into pain, then you're abusing them.
Do you think slashing their throat is painful?
Yes.
That's how all animals get killed.
Yeah, but that's the fastest way. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't suffer if they die.
They do. But like,
I mean, for the shortest time
Possible.
but it is, yeah.
the shortest time
There
possible
is-
in
yeah.
order to achieve what we want to achieve. From
Exactly,
Them.
what
Yeah.
we kind of.
But do
require
we
from
need
them.
to do any of this to them? Can we not survive on plants?
That's a decision,
It's
I
complicated.
guess.
That's a decision, right?
It's very complicated. I
But it's
think.
also my decision whether I want to hang a dog by their leg and beat them to death every day and build muscle that way.
Yeah.
But
I
you
have
don't-
an alternative, but isn't it the same when I choose to eat an animal product? I have an alternative.
Well,
I choose for
that's-
them to get killed, right? I
Yeah,
choose
that's-
for them to be abused.
That's true, but
just gonna
it's
play,
not the
um,
same thing. Exactly the same thing, because we come as mammals. that probably didn't eat meat, but then at some time started eating meat. As we started speaking, we developed ourselves. Now we eat meat. We probably can develop ourselves back, probably.
But it doesn't matter about development. The reality is we can survive and thrive on plant-based diets. So we can.
Yeah.
So none of it matters what we did in the past. Like probably sometime in our past there were people who committed rape. Like in my genealogy there might be somebody who was a woman who was raped during a war or some shit during hundreds of years ago. That doesn't mean I should do it now because it was happening in the past, right? Or that it's part of my evolution somehow, right? So just because something happened in the past doesn't mean we should keep doing it.
Yeah.
And can we acknowledge that it's wrong at least to do this to animals? Given that it's for optional products, there is no need for us.
I mean, I agree, it's wrong.
100%.
But I mean, many people are, or most of them are not saints. So
Let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
So, how would you replace meat, like the amount of proteins, the amount of nutrition you get out of it? How would you what would be the equivalent of eating that?
I mean, have you heard about
massive-
Satan, for example?
Say again?
Satan, have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like gluten. So Satan is the gluten extracted from wheat,
Okay.
and you can literally make it at home with like just you take flour and you water it until you take away the starches, and that just becomes gluten, and that's usually like very high in protein, like
So does
higher than
would
meat.
it be equivalent to obviously like, I don't know, take like a piece of meat, right? Would it be equivalent in terms of proteins, all nutrition, zinc, or whatever we get out of animals?
I don't know if I'm not 100% sure that Satan has all the. I think they do have all the. What do you call it? The
Nutrients?
well, the-
Nutrition.
nutrients, but like. I'm spacing out. Like the protein profile, the nutritional profile.
Oh, the chart, yeah. I
of
get what you mean.
the same. It's not a complete protein, Satan, right?
Yeah.
But. For example, soy and soy chunks, which are extremely high in protein, they're actually higher in protein than most meats. They are complete protein, and it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, what you need to get your macronutrients and your micronutrients from throughout your day, not from one food. You don't need to get your complete nutritional profile from one food alone.
No, of course.
You need to from all across different foods, right?
Yeah.
So even if you do eat Satan, you probably will eat, I don't know, rice, which balances it out, or you will eat other stuff, which at the end of the day, you still get your whole complete nutritional profile.
Yeah.
And yes, it is very possible, not difficult at all. And I'm studying to be a certified nutritionist, and I can tell you that it's easy. And there is also a side that is healthier for your heart because you're not eating as much saturated fat.
Yep.
And the number one killer worldwide is heart
Saturated fat.
disease.
Yeah.
Which
Which makes sense.
yeah. So yeah, there is benefit for us, but I don't want to discuss our benefit. I just want to say that it's
Yeah, yeah.
wrong to do this to them when we
No, of
shouldn't be
course.
doing this to
Yeah,
them,
sure.
regardless if we get benefit from it
I
or
agree.
not.
I absolutely agree.
But
And I
but
think
it's
and
really-
that's an easy agreement.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy to solve. I mean, yeah, it's an easy concept, but I mean, eating meat is something that is so rooted in history, culture, and then it's also this question: okay, will we forget about all the culture that people have with this? It's part of our what we are, and all of these historic values. And many people want to keep these traditions and whatever. And eating meat has been for a lot of years this, and I think that's the hardest part at the end.
Shouldn't traditions adapt? I mean, should we?
And they do.
Can, but
They can and they do, but it's not easy to change them. That's
No, I
what I
understand
want to
that,
say.
especially worldwide, right?
Exactly.
And
I mean, and every culture is completely different, and there is other cultures where eating the cats and dogs might be more normal, or eating insects, or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
And we can sit and talk all day long about the decisions of people and the decisions of societies. But at a lot of the times when we do that, it absolves us of the responsibility we have as individuals for the choices that we make, for the fact that we support animal abuse, for the fact that we support this exploitation of animals. Do we think that you, that you can do something about it for your choices? I understand society is difficult to handle. It's difficult to say
the
society
change
will
comes
change.
from the person
But
itself,
change
yeah.
comes from each individual at a time. Do you
it
think
could
that?
be an easy yes, but then I think the main point is we don't have enough education about it. For example, you could tell me 1,001 things. If I don't study it myself and I don't actually think,
100%, I agree.
okay, yeah, this is beneficial for me, then I will not switch. Just because of what I'm used to. And then obviously I'm not saying no, I'm just saying until I convince myself and say, yeah, this will work for me, then I will not change.
No, I'm not naive. I am not naive to believe that I can convince you of anything. The reality is, I'm just having a conversation with you, and I know that you, at the end of the day, have to convince yourself, or will convince yourself if that is what I want to do. I'm having this conversation. A lot of the times when these conversations, it feels like I'm pushing on people. But the reason why it feels that way is because when we have something that we've been doing our whole life, and somebody comes in and tells us hey, that's not right what we're doing,
of course.
our brain instantly becomes in this dissonance mode and defense mode, and we say, hey, stop, this person is not right. So that's kind of why I feel like I'm pushing, because I just want to get to that place where you get to your truth, to your values. So is it safe to assume that your moral values say that exploiting animals for something that is essentially optional to us is wrong?
Yes.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay, so then don't you think that in order to live according to your own moral values, you would need to not support these industries and be vegan? Not.
We are trying. I mean, we're trying more and more, I guess.
That's a
Well,
great.
I think that's a perspective to put it, right? Because when we eat meat products, we don't really think we're abusing animals. We're just thinking, yeah, this is the nutrition we need because of what we are taught in many years of education, right? We need this nutrition to grow up, to make example, etc.
Still, when one gets curious, we're sort of
100%,
trying,
right?
like we're getting curious to eat tofu or something else,
Exactly. So I think that's when obviously like you come along with the much knowledge to say, well, we can stop that actually, and we can put the responsibility that we are actually accepting abuse, even though we can say, oh yeah, we don't abuse a cat, don't abuse an animal, we're against this, da 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 da. But I think it's obviously that the lack of education about alternatives.
And let me put it this way, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's in no way your fault that you're in this position. Reality society is built in a way to make us feel this way, right? It's this industries, they make profit out of selling you these stories, out of telling you that, hey, animals are just resources we can use and do whatever we want to them. But when we're brought up, when somebody like me brings it up to you, don't you think you have a moral responsibility to look it up and make changes if required?
That's what the case should be. That's what the case should be.
That's what the case, because that is my role. The reality, when I sit here and talk to people, that is my role. My role is to try and get people. I don't think anybody can see you guys. My role is here to talk to people, to kind of show them this position, to explain this to them, because a lot of people haven't been presented this position. And then, of course, these people have to go on and look it up themselves and make changes. But however, I put it this way: when you buy an animal product, you will exploit another animal. And if you're in their shoes, you wouldn't want that to happen. Exactly. And if you're in their shoes, you wouldn't want that to happen. The question is, do you think until you make this decision, while you're informing yourself, should you abstain from eating animal products or from consuming animal products?
I think it will become habit once you get out of it, right? Once you start it, once you get into the habit, then you're not going to think about it as much.
100%. It is just a habitual thing, yeah.
100%.
And it's not a short process. It's not so short, I guess.
I think changing a habit usually takes around a month. So if you do it for a month, afterwards you won't. It becomes
I'll carefully say 6 weeks to 8 weeks to change it, to make a habit. Very
Fair
carefully.
enough. It depends on the person, I guess. We can. For me, it took like a couple of weeks, but I live here in the Netherlands. I know I've been to Spain. I've seen there's a lot of options also there. Maybe not enough in the supermarkets. At least it's full of options. In the restaurants, yeah, sure.
First choices you get is meat.
Yeah, I've seen that, and also in your supermarkets when you enter. By the way, I'm sorry. You said you're from UK,
yeah.
And you Germany. The people that I spoke to before were from Spain. I'm sorry, I just made.
No worries, you're fine.
In UK, UK is the number
Butchery,
one country.
and we have
It's amazing. It's the number one country to be vegan. It's the best. You have the most. Hey, just pressing button. Thank you for that. Yeah. So how many? You said 0, right?
After this conversation, 100%.
Yeah. How many animals should be exploited for you?
Yeah, probably minus 50 in this time.
Kind of make up for it, yeah.
Exactly.
I would say also 0.
Yeah.
I would say 0. Yeah.
So the only way is to go vegan to do that. And if you not sure if you want to go vegan yet, at least abstain from consuming animal products until you make that choice. And look it up, because it's important that we don't treat animals like shit. We're all animals. Just because we developed higher intelligence doesn't mean we get to do whatever we want with them. Let me
That's
give
super
you.
superior. But yeah.
Let me give you a map because I have a map of Amsterdam with vegan restaurants.
Okay.
And do you guys speak German?
Yes.
Okay. So I have. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Okay, so there's this is a map of Amsterdam. I'll just give it to one of you, and you can. And for the German-speaking people, this I'll give you one each. It says 98% of people are.
German. No.
It's okay. I have one in English also. There
Oh,
you go.
perfect. There you go.
Yeah, I have that.
Awesome.
You have several resources out there. There's a thing called Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you vegan recipes every day.
Okay.
They help you go vegan. It's free. It's
Awesome.
it's super easy. You just gotta want to do it. And open-minded people. I appreciate you guys. How old are you, by the way?
24.
24.
25.
27.
24.
Okay, I'm 37. I can tell you that my biggest regret in life is not going vegan earlier. Because once you look into it and realize the fucked up things that we do, it's wrong to be part of them. As you said, minus 50. It never goes away. At some point, you just say, fuck it, I don't want any more animals. It's sad that you participate
I get it,
in
but then was it so much your fault?
It's not. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was, at some point I was vegetarian, and at some point there was a part of me that was wondering if it's right or wrong. Because we all know that the vegans exist.
Yeah.
We just never know why.
Yeah.
Right? Because vegan just means, by the way, veganism is a moral principle. It's not diet or anything. It just means we oppose animal exploitation. Like kind of what
Yeah.
you said. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds like you align with that definition. So part of me always knew that there are these people that kind of know, but I never wanted to look into it. So I did feel some guilt for the fact that I didn't document myself more and I didn't make that switch earlier. But hey,
But you got there, though.
better late than never, right?
Exactly.
Better late than never.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having this conversation
Thank
with
you.
me. And hey, have an awesome
good
time in
night.
Amsterdam.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Have a nice vegan life, okay? Bye. Everyone, I think you lost me a little bit there. I'm sorry if that happened. I don't know what happened. Connection lost. There's probably a lot of people around, but I do have to go. I appreciate everybody being here. We have had some pretty good conversations today, haven't we? Huh? There was a lot of open-minded people, and I feel like these young children are also pretty open-minded. I appreciate that. I appreciated the conversation with them, and I felt like a lot of the times when I've been talking to people today, I felt like a little bit like walking on a little bit of a tight beam because they were so open-minded. It's a little bit like, oh shit, I shouldn't say the wrong thing because I don't want them to be cognitively dissonant or something. So Benji asked me if I'm not 38. No, I actually turned 37, but I'm gonna start saying that I'm 38. The minute when I turn, let's say I turn 37 now, I usually tell people that I'm 38 just so that I get used to the next number easier. But no, I'm 37, yeah. Ben, thank you for asking though. Your clothes contain animal byproducts, says Fred Rice. Red Rice? Yeah, they don't. Okay, so everybody, thank you for being here. If you have liked this, please like the stream, please subscribe. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for everybody who donated. Thank you for the moderators for keeping track. Thank you for all the vegan people and everybody in the chat who has been maintaining conversations, who have been talking to people. I consider that a form of activism, and I appreciate you being there and doing that. And it's just a good thing. And if you ever get the chance that you want to go out there and speak for animals, I strongly encourage you. And if you need help or have questions on how do I do this, how do I have this reach, how do we do it technologically or whatever, contact me on Instagram and I'll help you out. I have no problem helping anybody out. So whether you're vegan, not vegan or anything, and you have your doubts, you want to have a conversation, just hit me up, okay? We'll discuss it. And anything else that I want to say? Nothing. That's it. I appreciate everybody for being here. Have an absolutely awesome day. If you're not vegan, go vegan. Stop abusing animals. Stop exploiting animals. And if you're vegan, do some activism. Be in chats. Speak to people. Go out there on the streets. Whatever it is, do something. Thank you so much for being here. Have an awesome evening, everybody, or day. I don't know what it is. And yeah. See you next time. See you next week. Next week we'll have a lot of streams, okay? See you, everybody.